Hey, how's everyone doing? Welcome in. Hope we're all having a good one. That goes there. This goes here. Hope everyone is having a great day. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I probably shouldn't tell you what kind of day to have. I think that's like really it's like really like dehumanizing, really takes away your own autonomy to choose like the sort of day that you yourself would like to have. I know a lot of people are striving towards like the really bad, awful, horrible days. Um, so, if that's, and it's your constitutional right to want a day of that sort. Um, One sec, let me text AG. But no, regardless, yeah, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Make sure you're doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're at least 18 or older and that you think that there's something wrong with being gay. Um, Listen, Brandon, I mean, I see you there, but if you come up here and defend, like, I'd like to think that we're on pretty good terms, but if you come up here and defend that there's something wrong with being gay, I think that's gonna really, like, dampen, like, the sort of relationship we have. It's really gonna, like, reframe it for me. I don't know. You might not want that, uh, but regardless, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, doing all that good stuff. Um, okay. Uh,
Hey, Ian.
yeah. I mean, do you disagree with the prompt?
So, what I want to present you with is a non-religious kind of meager version of disagreeing with the prompt.
Okay.
I am not making I will not be arguing that there is like a moral failure on the part of a person, but that there may be in some sense a kind of the strongest word I could use is like a tragedy involved in what's going on,
That they're,
like
like, losing
an
out on, like,
unfortunate thing.
I guess, like, what do you think the tragedy would be there?
So the way that I propose it is that if you had some kind of godlike power
Mhm.
over someone that you love, let's say you're going to have a child, would you or would you choose for that child to be fertile or not?
I'd probably choose for them to be fertile because that would just give them more options. So whatever sort of life that they choose to want, like if they wanted to have children, then they can do that. If they don't want to have children, then they can do that. Um, I don't know. To me, like
Exactly.
that's like more of a
That's what I
question
think
of like
most people answer.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, the there is no obligation that someone you love who's coming into being must have children, and they're no less if they don't.
Hmm.
But for someone that you love, you would choose that that be an option for them. And so there is some sense in which someone you love that you had the power over, in some godlike stance, you probably wouldn't choose for them to be gay.
So I guess like maybe this argument would have more force if this was like 500 years ago, but you can have children even if you are gay. For example, you could like adopt a child, or I mean, even you could have like a child who's literally just your DNA. You could get like
Absolutely.
IVF, things of that sort. So I think maybe like 500 years ago, this argument, like before we had medical technology that would allow for gay people to have biological children, I think maybe this argument would have more force, but I guess it just doesn't seem like it would have as much force now.
Like, I hear you, and like the force of the argument is getting less as technology develops. I know that there's some pretty promising stuff that could allow homosexual couples to have biological children of their own that is in development right now. And if that happens, that does it does weaken the argument for sure.
Mm.
But I still think that in the fact that you would choose for someone you love to be fertile if you had that choice, if they were infertile, they could still do all of those things you listed, and that would be fine and good. But it would just be harder, wouldn't it? Like, it's just like, at the very least, an unfortunate hurdle to have to jump over, as opposed to the fertile route, right?
This argument, Dr. Blitz, I'm taking this argument from Dr. Blitz in the comments section, but he raises like a really good point, which is that this argument seems to imply that what we should wish for everyone to be is bisexual, because that will give them the most options.
If we, I don't know how that follows. If the technology develops such that you could have a biological child with any other human, then that would be the case logically, I suppose. But until we're at that point, I don't think that follows.
I guess I'm not really sure. So, okay. The reason why being bisexual would give you the most options is because it opens up the option of, I don't know, engaging in like a wide variety of sexual acts, or being in like a wide variety of relationships with a wide variety of people. That the entire pool of people with whom you can be in a relationship with or have a sexual encounter with basically doubles. So if the thing that I'm valuing here is like the ability to choose the sort of life that they would like to live, to have the most options that are available to them, it would just seem like the thing that would give us the most options is if everybody was bisexual.
I see. Okay, the thing that I'm maximizing for isn't just the widest array of options. It seems that having the option to have a biological child of your own with a romantic partner that you are romantically and physically attracted to is like a unique joy that only heterosexual people can participate in as we understand things right now. And that is something that we kind of wish everyone had the same level of ease of access to.
Well, I think probably there's like a couple of things to say about that. I could make like the reverse argument that, I mean, there's like two things. First, not everybody wants this. That's first and most obvious, you know.
Of
But
course,
if everybody
I'm
was
not saying everyone needs to
bisexual,
have
then all the
needs to
people who
do it.
wanted it would be able to have access to doing it. And then, you know, if not, they would have an even wider range of partners with whom they could be with. And then you could also run arguments in like a different direction and say that, you know, the joys of frauding can only be enjoyed by like gay people. That there's like certain sex acts that you can only do if you're gay, and that's like a unique joy that's restricted to like a certain group of people.
Yes, that's consistent. There are potentially unique joys that can only be enjoyed and experienced by homosexual people, or people who are open to a wider array of sexual acts. I guess the question is, like, you can think of this for yourself. When you're thinking about someone you love and the kinds of good things you wish for them, what seems more important to you? The ability for them to choose to have a biological child of their own with a partner that they love, or to enjoy particular sexual acts?
I think it super
You can make that
depends on the
comparison.
person.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Like, obviously, people who don't want kids might feel like it's less important for their own people that they love to be fertile too. There's a subjectivity here. But I think on the whole, most people would come to the conclusion, and for rational reasons, that the being fertile is more important to them for those that they love than the joys of particular sexual acts.
So here's like the one circumstance where I might say, I might even agree with you that there's like some tragedy involved with being born gay, is if the person really, really, really wants biological children with, you know, a person who they're in like a committed long-term relationship with. If the person doesn't have a desire for that, then I actually don't think there's any tragedy at all.
I agree. There isn't a tragedy for that person. If they're not experiencing that, totally, I'm with you.
I guess maybe that's like probably that kind of applies to like the entire point. I don't know.
Yeah, they were
That
infertile
response certainly
heterosexual
seems to have
couples,
like a
and there's a tragedy there.
sure. Yeah, I think I might agree with that. That in the same way, if somebody finds out that they're infertile and they really, really, really want biological children with their spouse, that there is like a tragedy there. And if you're gay, but you really, 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 really want biological children with like a loving wife, um, that would probably be tragic. Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so, someone who is a parent who has a child who is growing up, and it's becoming clear that this child is discovering, oh, I think I'm probably gay, or has fully discovered that. I think it is rational for that parent to have some degree of anxiety, like, oh, what if they wanted kids? And like, there's likely to be, even if you're fully loving and supportive of your child, there's likely to be a reasonable grieving of like, oh, the kind of natural and easy approach to having a biological child of their own is no longer on the table. And that just seems reasonable to me.
What about
There need be no bigotry or homophobia in that, as far as
well,
I can see.
okay, so I think you could probably reverse this maybe. You could say, but what about all the people who regret having children? You could when you find out that your child is straight, that's a tragedy because they might grow up to have kids and then like regret having those kids. I guess it feels
Yeah,
like
the
these sorts of
antinatalists who
arguments like
happen to
kind of
have
cut
kids
both
would would
ways.
would would be sad about that. Yes, and they would experience a tragedy, but I don't think that that's representative of most people's value judgments. But
Well, I don't think
yes, that
most
would be
gay
true.
people want to have like biological children with a
Well,
person
that
that they're
that
married
might be
to.
the case, but I think there's a tell in that if the technology gets to the point that they can, I think we might suddenly discover that lots of gay couples would love to. And it's just a case that the impossibility is what kind of leads to that point of resignation, rather than if it was possible. I'm almost certain that tons of gay couples, people I know, would have a biological child of their own with their partner.
So the problem is that this just seems like an empirical question. So I guess as it kind of sits, like until we get like empirical data or like survey data on this, it kind of feels like the argument's at an impasse.
And where is that impasse, do you think?
Yeah, sure. Like the question of, okay, of the people who have children, like how many straight people who have children with the partner that they're married to, regret having those children as opposed to like the percentage of gay
Hmm.
people who have this like deep desire to have children with the person that they're married to.
Yeah, and both of those things are very difficult to get reliable and honest reports on, I think. There's a lot of
Probably.
psychological complexity going on there. It's very hard for people to admit to themselves that they regret having kids, even if they do.
That
And,
seems true.
and it's very difficult, I imagine, for stable homosexual couples to even maybe admit to each other that, like, I wish you could provide me with a biological child of my own. Like, there's a lot of complexity there, and I imagine it would be hard to get data. But I
That's probably
agree
true. I'm
that data's
sure
relevant. That data's relevant. Yeah.
I think I'd probably agree that it's likely that people in both of these situations are probably going to rationalize the situation that they're in. That, in the same way, if you really wanted to grow up and be 7 feet tall and play like professional basketball, and then you stop growing at like 5'6", you're kind of gonna
There's a
just have to
certain
come to
tragedy.
terms with
Yeah.
that. And similarly, if you have children and then you regret having those children, you're kind of just gonna need to come to terms with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else?
That's
Otherwise, I
that.
think the
No,
conversation
that
was better than it's better than I expected it to be.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
I'm not trying to maximize your disdain for me per
Yep.
conversation, for sure. All the best. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for coming on up. Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you disagree with the topic. Make sure you think that there is something wrong with being gay. And, also make sure that you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff as we go to the very next guest. Oop. I don't know. This person's taking a while to join. Gosh, what am I supposed to fill? It's like a weird period of time to fill. It's like the 15-second time period. Hey, how's it going? Coco, are you there?
Hello?
Yep. How old are you?
Yes. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How old are you?
Yes. Yes. So I saw you live and I was just thinking like it is kind of like if there is something wrong with being gay, and I've always felt that way. Just like the other guy was saying, like when it comes to children, I just think that it is so crazy that gay people, like when it comes to gay people, like they can have biological children. So I just think that's like so gross.
I'm like
Like
90% sure that that person's trolling. All right. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. And if he's not trolling, then he's going to find out something really funny later in the future. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Yep. And do you disagree with the topic?
I guess it's just going to depend on like what's meant by wrong. Like by wrong, do you just mean like it shouldn't be done, or
Like morally wrong. Yeah. Like everybody, probably something like, the sort of actions that everybody has reason to not do.
and is this like going to be indexed to, like a particular like normative theory?
I guess yours.
Okay. Because like I don't know. I think for me, when I like am looking at it and like ascertaining it, I think that it can be okay. The only thing I worry about is just like, I guess, for example, if we take like gay men, for example, just like the higher rates of like anal cancer and like different like diseases and things like that. I think that would probably serve as a reason to probably not do it. But I don't
Sure.
necessarily
So there's a
know
couple
if
of
that
things to
makes
say
it
about that.
morally
First,
wrong.
I mean, do you think that it's wrong to like knowingly make the choice to go outside without sunscreen?
Well, I'd say like it probably wouldn't promote your well-being.
But is
You'd
it
probably
wrong?
Yeah. So by wrong, do you just mean something that you shouldn't do?
Yeah. Something that everybody shouldn't do.
Yeah, like you probably shouldn't do that because
Okay.
it'll, I guess, detract from your like, I guess, well-being.
What
It'll
if
like
somebody
go
wants
against your
to? Do you think that
biological.
I mean, like if somebody wants to, I'm not really sure who I would be to impose my system on them in like a circumstance like that. Like if the person being harmed is like the person themselves, well, I just think that you're capable of assessing those risks for yourself. Maybe a better question, do you think it's wrong to drive a car knowing the risks of potentially dying in a car crash?
I would say no. I think that the goods would outweigh the bad. So I guess if there was like an argument and it was like, well, if we're looking at the situation and we're saying, okay, well, maybe we have these negative effects, but maybe it's also the case that, when these gay people, they get to engage in relationship, right? They get to actually have love, have a partner, right? It might be the case that if we take all the reasons, it might be the case that these reasons count in favor of them actually doing it. But I was just wondering what you thought about weighing that in there. And as it,
Sure.
I
One
kind of look
sec.
at the whole picture a little bit.
I think I would need to look into like the causal story for things like why anal cancer is like more likely there, or like if there's some way to reduce that. Because for something like HIV, the easy way to reduce that is to not engage in promiscuous sex and to use protection. That you should be having sex with people who are tested and who are safe in terms of their diseases. So I mean that there's like easy ways to fix that, and then at that point there's literally no reason stemming from something like HIV to not engage in gay sex.
So like, I guess like are you, I guess, positing that people in the gay community, I guess, aren't using protection or aren't being safe enough, or do you think that we just need to promote like better
I know that
guess like
was like
some
previously. I know that that was like previously the problem, is that people weren't using protection. People were being, they were sleeping with like tons of different people very frequently, um, in unsafe ways. Yeah. I don't know how things have changed over time, but certainly today things have gotten a lot safer. So I think that what that really becomes a critique of is not gay sex, but rather unsafe sex.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good point. But I think one thing I might add in there is like there may be particular sexual actions that I guess are just going to be inherently more, I guess, harmful or conducive to like I guess frustrating one's like well-being,
Like
at least in
what?
like biological context.
Yeah, like what?
Like anal types of sex.
Okay. When you say like frustrate biological contexts, are you using like some sort of like natural law view?
Um, Not necessarily, right? Like when I'm just talking about like someone's like biological interest, I'm just talking about the things that promote their like homeostasis and like their self regulation. It's like, for example, something like hunger, thirst, right? It would be true that no matter one's desires or interest, right? We're gonna need to eat, we're gonna need to drink, just in order to like promote our like well being, at least like biologically speaking.
Okay. Um, so I guess like maybe would you want to give like an example of that? Like how does engaging in anal sex do that? Inherently do that, that is.
Yeah, well, I would just I guess so. I think when we're looking at anal sex, I think it could be the case that well, I guess it would just be the case that I guess it's you could I guess mix the genitals with like feces or whatever the case may be.
Not if you
I think,
engage in safe sex. This is a critique of, at that point you'd be saying like it's wrong to engage in sex wherein like you're not cleaning properly, or it would be wrong to engage in sex where you're not using a condom, for example. But that's not an argument against the type of sex that would be done where everybody's cleaning properly and also using a condom. Also,
yeah.
I
So
looked into the anal cancer. Apparently, anal cancer is caused by an STD. So this would again fall into the category of safe sex. Like just having safe sex would reduce HIV down to the normal rates, and it would reduce anal cancer down to the normal rates.
yeah. So I guess why is the HIV higher amongst like gay men, for example, as well?
I don't know. That's a statistical question. Could come down to the fact that their like sex lives were very underground, that they weren't able to form like stable relationships that could be public. So it gave rise to cultures, um, like I don't know, gave rise to like sorts of cultures wherein people were having lots of promiscuous sex. So the solution there seems to be we should be more accepting of gay people, not less.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're like stipulating like in a hypothetical, for example, that I guess if we, or rather that it was going to be the case that we could actually promote the um like safeness of it, right? Then I'd probably say, okay, then there's probably no issue here,
Okay,
right? As long as
sure.
things like that. But if it wasn't, then I'd probably say there might be reasons against it, but I wouldn't necessarily like legislate against it, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's like a reasonable enough position, and then probably what you're gonna run into there, um, is that at that point, I would probably say like the same is true of like straight people. If you're having unsafe sex as a straight person, you probably have reason to not do that.
Yeah, I would probably say that, like just in the sense of it would frustrate your your interest and I guess frustrate your well being.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else?
No, that was everything. Thanks for the
Yeah.
chat.
Hey, thanks so much for the chat. Appreciate it. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older, that you believe in the God, or that you think that there is something wrong with being gay. Let's read some supers. Ellie, thanks so much for the super chat. They always disparage those who are infertile. That's true. Although, I mean, I think I kind of understand what Brandon was saying, just that there is like, you know, it is unfortunate when somebody finds out that they're infertile, but they really, really, really wanted to birth children. They wanted biological children really badly. I don't know. I think I probably agree that there is like a tragedy there. But surely it's not wrong to go forth and like have sex or whatever. Sale, thanks so much for the super chat. The amount of people who think we homosexuals are infertile is just sad. That's true. You could always get out the turkey baster or whatnot. Molly, you have an extra one? Scribble Scrabble, thanks so much for the $10 super chat. My choice to wish my friend to be fertile. Why the fuck should my choice matter? My friend's choice is what matters. Whatever my friend chooses is what I support. I think that's definitely true. I think like obviously like the more important thing there is whether or not your friend wants to have children. You know, that's probably what determines whether it's a tragedy. Okay. Hey AG, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. We're having a blast. Okay, let's go
Yeah,
to the
finally
next.
able to do the topic and you're not getting nuked.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know, I miss it. Hey, how's it going?
Yo,
Yeah, how old are you?
21.
Yep. And do you think that there's something wrong with being gay?
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think's wrong with being gay?
Are you gonna hear my argument out, or are you just gonna silence me?
Good start.
I have an actual argument you never heard before.
Yeah, go for it.
So you know how a magnet works, right?
Gosh. Yeah. I'm like vaguely familiar.
It's the opposites that attract, not the same poles.
Oh
So
gosh.
the opposites, negative and positive poles attract. The opposite, the same poles don't.
Mm.
So males and females, opposites. Men, women, opposites. Masculine, feminine, opposites. So it's fitting that males and females are the ones committing sexual acts together, not males, female.
Respectfully, there's no shot that you think this is a good argument.
No,
Do you think
it's
like, you know, we got opposites attract in magnets, therefore it's wrong to have gay sex?
well, the opposites attracting in magnets. What that is shows that's an example of divinity, right?
Okay. Are you I'm like I know we've talked before, but are you trolling?
No,
I'm obviously
think
not going to
I-
grant
I-
that magnets are divinity. I think that this is explained by like physical facts related to electric fields.
no. But the point that I'm trying to make is that opposites attracting is just how God made it. It's better that opposites come together rather than the same.
Then
So-
why would it be the case that when we look to other species, for example, bonobos, that they're extremely bisexual?
Okay,
Why would
But-
God do that?
I don't know. I mean, if you really don't want to go down this path because animals also rape way more than humans do.
Yeah,
So-
my argument
Uh,
is not that it's permissible in virtue of animals doing it. My argument is that we can't say that God wanted the opposites to attract because God also made all of these other species where the opposites don't attract.
What is a bonobo? So it's a
Oh
monkey.
man.
How do
Oh,
you know?
man.
How
It's
do you
not
know
a
that they're
monkey,
bi-
it's an ape.
How do you know they're bisexual?
Hang on.
Because we see
Ian,
them fucking like all of the time. That's like their favorite
You've wa-
activity
you've
is
seen-
to fuck each other.
So you've watched videos of
I have
a
not
monkey
watched
fucking.
them, but I don't know if you
They've
want
been
to
observed.
Google, you know, the bonobo researchers
Really?
have observed it. Yeah, it's like, to be clear, it's like a bonobo's favorite activity is to fuck other bonobos. There's like some quote about bonobos that's like, if you throw like a shiny trinket into a group of bonobos, they'll all start like fucking each other because they're so excited, and then they'll investigate the trinket afterwards.
Well, again, I have no way to confirm if this is
You can
true.
Google that if you want. Not bonobo sex. You can just Google like, are bonobos bisexual? In fact, I'll do it for you.
Ian, do you care if the guests bio supports white supremacy?
No, it's not white supremacy.
That's what your bio says, bud.
That's not
What
what
does your bio?
supremacy.
What's the bio say?
It says God's prophets are white. Scripture proves me
Yep,
right.
based off of
But
Lamentations 4
the
to
white
7.
and the right are in caps.
Lamentation.
Okay. Yep. On to the next one. Well, hey, if you disagree with the topic, request to join. If you think that there's something wrong with being gay, feel free to request to join. You must be 18 or older. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. But yeah, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. I guess I'll read this super. Helping MAGA deconstruct. Thanks so much for the super chat. The caller doesn't know cis couples go backdoor. That's true. I think the caller would probably, like the one caller I was talking to previously, would probably just bite the bullet and say, yeah, that is wrong. But for folks like that, presumably, I wonder, probably like a good dilemma to ask them is whether or not they think there's anything wrong with like frauding. If they're absolutely against like anal sex, do they have like some opposition to that too? And if so, why?
I mean, you heard me give the like Trisha Paytas argument, right?
No.
Oh, it's like
Maybe I did, but I have no fucking idea what that refers to.
Like you'd have to like make some sort of argument that, I mean, you could maybe say it from a health reason, but you know what's like immoral about Trisha Paytas sticking a lamp up her vagina?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'd say that that's like immoral unless it's like, well, probably the issue there is that it's unsafe. But if it wasn't unsafe, then
Right, but like, how are you gonna like say somebody is immoral? Like, if they say all gay people are immoral because of anal sex, right? Like, you would have to say, you know, anybody that engages in like, you know, what Trisha Paytas did would be immoral, and you'd have to make the argument for that because that's just ridiculous. It's like her own bodily autonomy.
yeah, that's true.
Oh, is this
Although,
all gay people? Because I don't have a problem with all gay people. It's just every time I've dated a twink, they were evil, and
true.
I just
Anti-twink
thought that needs
action.
to get out there.
Okay.
I
Okay, that guy might be onto something. Hey, how's it going? How old are you?
Yo, 20. I'm lucky not even ready right now.
Okay. Do you want to have the conversation? Do you not want to, or?
Okay, we could have it right now.
Okay, yeah. Do you think that there's something wrong with being gay?
Honestly, like overall, like just being gay in general, or like
I don't know, like
in what
having
regard?
gay sex?
From a societal standpoint, gay people like they don't really serve like any purpose. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, I think they serve like lots of purpose. You know, they have
Like what?
they have employment wherein they contribute to their societies in certain ways. You
Gay
know.
societies? How big is a gay society? What gay
Whoa,
society
sorry.
do you?
What I told you is that gay people have employment. You know, they have jobs in which they contribute back to their community.
And
You know, like
what,
if a gay person is like a doctor, or hell, even just like a person that serves you your Big Mac, they're still contributing
why would
to
I?
society
Okay.
in some way.
How many important gay people are in society?
They're your nurses and doctors and surgeons. So like that, like gay people are just regular people out in
Bro.
society. So if you
Nurses,
think
doctors, and surgeons.
that, yes, do you think nurses and doctors and surgeons are like,
I
you know,
can
helpful for
guarantee you
society?
most of them are heterosexual. I can
Yeah, because
guarantee you
Well,
most
that.
because the
people are
majority is,
heterosexual. Okay.
yeah.
No, not.
The majority of the population is going to be heterosexual, so yes, the minority of surgeons, doctors, and nurses are going to be homosexual. But you said, is there going to be any part of the population in which, you know, gay people are benefiting? And if they are doing, you know, something good
I
in
don't.
society, do
Okay,
you
let me
deem those
rephrase this.
jobs? Do you deem those
I'm
jobs as
sorry.
good?
I'm sorry for cutting you off. Let me just rephrase. I don't think there's nothing wrong with being gay in general, right? You can be gay, right? But I don't think they have any like. There's no benefit to them being gay. Like there's nothing like there. You don't benefit. You know what I mean? Like they don't do anything.
Well, I'm not sure if they'd agree with that. I don't know, like, the intimacies of, like, gay relationships, but I'm sure that
They're
there's,
not
like
adding to the population. I
I
mean,
don't think that's the only metric by which you can be benefited. I don't think the only way to benefit is, like, whether or not you have children, but I'm sure, like, the dating dynamic between gay men is very different than it is between, you know, like, a man and a woman. It's very different from how it is between, like, lesbian dating dynamics. I'm sure the dating dynamics offer a unique experience that they wouldn't get elsewhere.
I mean, you could say that, right? But just being gay in general does not add value to society, like, at all.
Okay. I
Does that make
mean,
somebody
So it's
immoral?
not really nothing. It's not really.
But does that make
Yeah.
somebody
So,
immoral? If somebody doesn't benefit society, are they immoral?
no.
Okay, so then
yeah.
what's the argument? Like, why should I care about you saying that they don't do anything for society, even though we think that they do, but you think they don't, but you don't make a moral
You
claim from
think
that?
though?
Yeah, but you're
Wait,
not
what do you
making a
mean a
moral.
moral? I don't have to make. I don't have to make a moral claim for them doing things. What?
We're saying
That's the
wrong up
topic.
there. That's the topic. Nothing is wrong, meaning immoral.
Oh, immorally wrong. Oh no, I don't think. No, being gay is not
Oh,
like
okay.
no. I mean, unless you're like
Unless you're
in a
Jack the
religion,
Ripper. Yeah.
unless you're like in a religion or something like that. No, but like just morally, no. So I guess I'm sorry for wasting guys.
That's okay. That's okay. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older and that you think that there's something wrong with being gay. If you don't do that, don't request to join. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Hello?
Yep. How old are you?
20.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
I have the stats here to prove it.
Okay. Let's go through them.
Okay. Let me get it all open.
And to be clear, do you think that this is like something that's intrinsic to being gay, or do you
How do I
think
turn my camera around?
And turn it off.
Oh,
And
How
turn it
do
off.
I turn it around?
Oh
Shit.
no. Well, it's a good thing that that's not broadcast to YouTube. Okay. Unfortunate. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Yep. Do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yes.
Okay. In virtue of what do you think being gay is wrong?
And it depends on how you mean.
Like morally wrong?
Yeah, it's not naturally. It's not
Okay.
natural to be like, I don't think a man and a man can make a baby.
Sure. So when you say that it's not natural, do you want to spell that out? Like you might mean one of like a couple of things. Maybe by not natural, you mean that it doesn't occur in animals that aren't humans, or maybe you mean something like it's statistically rare, like the majority of the population isn't that. So I guess when you say not natural, what do you mean by that? That I'm hitting puberty out here.
Okay, for instance, let's say like sicknesses and diseases often comes from people that are homosexual. For example, AIDS.
Comes from promiscuous sex. I mean, if you look at the stats, people who engage in promiscuous sex, unprotected sex, have the same rate of transmission of these diseases, whether they're straight or gay.
Listen, okay, I have one question. Can a man get pregnant? Is that possible?
Depends on your metaphysics of gender. I'd imagine for you, you'd probably say no. So that's fine. I can work with your framework.
No, I'm just asking you, like, can a man
This
get
is a
pregnant?
derail,
It's an
by
easy
the way.
question.
Yeah, I think like
No,
trans
it's
men
easy.
can get pregnant
How is that possible? A trans man? How can a trans
because
man get
some of them
pregnant?
have uteruses.
No, I'm talking about a man that was born a man with a
Sure.
penis.
Oh, well, I don't think they could get pregnant then, no. If what you mean
Yeah.
is like a cis man, I don't think cis men can get pregnant.
Yeah. So is it more common that a person that is gay could get a disease like AIDS or not?
It depends on whether or not they're engaging in safe sex. That's like the key question, is whether or not they're engaging in safe sex. And if the critique is that gay people are more likely to engage in unsafe sex, well, then that's just a critique of engaging in unsafe sex. That has nothing to do with being gay. You could be gay and just have safe sex.
It's
So what is
also
your
like
argument? So what is your argument like? What is your
There's
argument?
nothing wrong with it. That there's no feature of it that would make it wrong.
There's no future. I just said like it's not natural.
Okay.
A man can't get pregnant.
But by not natural, what do you mean by that?
For like I said, a man cannot get pregnant.
I'm asking for like
that's
a general definition of not natural. Like, what do you mean by not natural?
like it's a easy answer. Like I'm telling you that you, as a man, you're not able to get pregnant.
You think the definition of natural is, as a man, you're not capable of getting pregnant? You
No,
think that's what
not
the word
that's
natural means? I'm asking you for a
no.
definition.
Listen, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm asking for a definition.
No,
we're
the
trying to
definition.
understand. I can give you mine. Sorry. It's
No,
existing
listen.
and are caused by nature, not by humankind. So if I'm saying that natural means existing in nature, not made by humankind, then if homosexuality displays itself in nature, then it would be by definition natural. So that's why we're asking you, what definition of natural are you going by? And the definition that the words that you're just saying would make grass not natural. That's why we're asking you your version of natural.
No, but
way
what
that
I'm
you're using
saying
it.
is no. Yeah, I understand. But what I'm saying is we don't need to like play dumb or anything, because what I'm saying is pretty simple.
The question
A
is
man.
whether, well, okay, wait, I can clarify this for you. The reason why it's important to get clear on what you mean by natural is that you're saying that all things that fall into this category are wrong. So by unnatural, maybe you mean like outside of the laws of physics, or maybe you mean, a product
I
of
mean,
human
exactly,
action, or
but
maybe you
yeah,
mean like appearing only in
it is.
humans, or you could mean
Yes,
that it's
yes.
like the things that you shouldn't do, or like not innate.
No, I'm telling
Or
you, it
but
goes outside.
for each of these
It goes.
things, there's going to be like a different response. So we just need to get
Yeah.
clear, because there's a ton of different things that you could mean by
Yeah,
unnatural.
I understand. I understand. But I don't want to get so philosophical right here. I'm just saying. I'm saying it goes outside the laws of physics.
You think being gay goes outside of the laws of physics?
No, I just said a man getting pregnant goes outside the laws of physics.
But gay people aren't trying to get pregnant.
No, but you said there's nothing wrong with being gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So what's wrong with it?
okay. What's wrong with it is that, first of all, what is the outcome? What are you trying to like? What do you want to do?
I don't know. Have like a cool, loving relationship, perhaps.
Yeah, but the thing is, if like we have it's proven that gay people often get sicknesses and diseases.
Well, that stuff comes from unsafe sex. So what would be the problem with somebody
Let's say
who has
Freddie
gay sex, but it's like totally
Freddie
safe?
Mercury,
What would the
Freddie
problem there
Mercury
be?
from the Queens, for example, Freddie Mercury.
What?
You know Freddie Mercury from Queens?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
Sorry, do you want to answer my question first, or do you want to dodge?
No. I just asked the question. I didn't hear your question.
Yeah. So my question is, if somebody engages in safe sex, safe gay sex, what's the problem there? If you're off the app, I can't hear you. You got to be on the app. Return immediately, or you'll be hunted down.
You'll become gay if you don't come back in 5 seconds.
Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. You like men now? It's over. It's Jover for you. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, and all that good stuff. Only request to join if you're 18 or older, and you think that there is something wrong with being gay. If you don't fall under that category, don't request to join. Quirky Turkey, thanks so much for the super chat. Bro doesn't know about gay people paying taxes for public education without having kids. Also, straights can be jealous. We can travel outside the school calendar and get cheaper flights. I could go on. Oh, okay, wait. It took me a second to process that. I get it. I'm tracking. Hey, how's it going?
You talking to me or Nelson?
Yes.
Oh, it's I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, how old are you?
25.
And do you think that being gay is wrong?
Yes.
In virtue of what? Like, what feature does being gay have that makes it wrong?
It's just the image in my brain that when I even see a gay couple or just the word gay, like, it just makes me think a man's genitals is not supposed to be inside another man's exit hole.
So, well, then there's like a reason to think that you should probably like suspend judgment on this topic, which is that it sounds like the thing that's causing you to form your moral judgment is like a disgust reaction. And a disgust reaction doesn't help you understand the moral facts, but it does make it more likely for you to evaluate things as being wrong. So, for example, there are studies done wherein they have, they read like completely neutral situations to people, but then for one of the groups, they release like a fart smell. And the groups where they released the fart smell evaluated the situations as being more immoral than otherwise. So if you're disgusted by the idea of gay people, then you might evaluate it as being immoral, but that would just be an unjustified evaluation because it being disgusting to you does not, in fact, make it immoral.
It's just like if you think of it, bro, you're putting your thing inside inside a poop
Did
area,
you hear
bro.
anything that Ian just said?
I did.
You can make
No
like
one's
the
talking
same
to you.
argument about like eating haggis. Like you're eating these like disgusting fucking like Scots, they're eating, what is it, fucking like lamb intestines, like fermented oats instead of like lamb intestines. That's like revolting, but they love it. They enjoy
You're,
that.
you're cooking it.
Hmm?
You're killing all the bacteria.
But it's disgusting.
What does that
It's a
have to do
disgusting thing
with?
to eat. Also,
No,
to
it's
be
not.
clear,
Not if you cook
you
it.
can clean out
You're comparing
the
food to your
anus if you
exit.
want before doing like anal sex.
You don't even know how to clean it. Like what?
You're saying I
You're
don't know
not
how?
even supposed
That's
to put
true.
any.
I don't know how to, but
You're not supposed to
the
put
gay
anything
people certainly
inside.
do.
You're
Do you
not
think-
supposed to put nothing inside there, dude.
Remix, do you think it's gross for like somebody to have sex with a woman on her period?
I mean, personally, I've experienced it, and I don't like that. So yeah, I kind of think it is a slightly disgusting. But I know every man or every guy, they can't hold, they can't wait a week or so. They're just so,
Goodness gracious. Didn't need that one. Again, like this disgust response is just going to be based in cognitive science. It's already what Ian's already explained it to you. There's no reason for us to have further conversation to be having disgust.
And you were telling the other guy
I'm
to
sorry.
just
Wait, do you think your parents having sex is disgusting? Like the idea, like if you were to picture your parents having sex, would that disgust you?
No, I find that like normal, and I don't
You
picture that.
You would picture your parents having
What?
sex, and you wouldn't find that disgusting? Like if you
Well, first-
seriously,
well,
stop
like,
and like
listen.
visualize. Like I get like a pretty strong disgust reaction there.
Okay, well, I don't visualize, and I would not
If you
like
visual,
to
and
imagine
why
to,
wouldn't you? Is it because it's disgusting?
because I just wouldn't want to see my mother or father that way.
Would it disgust you?
I guess.
Sure. So does that make it wrong?
No, that's just my parents. I don't want to see.
Okay. Yeah, maybe
It
the
sounds
same
like you
thing-
just don't want to see anal sex.
Yeah,
Like
well,
I'm a lesbian. I don't want to watch like men have sex.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't mean that gay men are wrong though.
Are you the girl with short hair in the other lives before?
You've probably been around, sure, yeah.
You sound familiar, but I clicked on your profile and I see no pictures. So I was like, it sounds like her, but I can't tell if it's her. But it sounds like you. But anyways, you were talking about the other guy about just using safe sex. Just use safe sex if you're
Yep.
going to get, infection or anything like that. Well, what's the point? Like, why use safe sex? Like, that's not the point. There's not supposed to be
why
a
do safe
condom.
sex?
There's not supposed to be a condom on your thing. Like, it doesn't
What?
feel right, and it's just not correct.
Oh my
No,
god.
you should hold on. You should like this is why women get BV at high rates is because you think sticking your dick cheese inside of her is healthy. You should always be wearing condom. Also because there's lots of things like if you want to get a woman pregnant or not because even if you pull out you still have pre-cum. So you should always be cautious no
And
matter
that's
what.
why you pee before you have sex. You go pee. and then
Right.
minutes later,
It's just being clean. It's just being clean. That's all it is, bud. There's nothing wrong with you taking the making sure that you don't spread anything, that you're clean
So
and
you're
having
saying if
clean
I
safe
go
sex.
and impregnate somebody, like they're gonna end up with something because I wasn't wearing
No,
a
that's not
condom?
what I said at all. I'm just saying that's what you should be. You should just be cautious.
Do you think that there's like something wrong with wearing a condom?
I mean, it's just not the same feeling. Like if I were to go have sex with some girl, like
I agree, it's
I
not
would
the same
prefer
feeling. Do
not
you
to
think there's
wear
something
one, but
wrong with
obviously if
doing
she
that?
wants me to wear one, I would have to. But it's just not the same feeling.
I agree, it's not the same feeling, but do you think it's wrong?
No, I don't think it's wrong.
Oh, I'm just not really
But
sure what the
I
problem with like gay people doing
just
safe
wouldn't
sex
like to.
is.
I just wouldn't like to wear one.
That's fine. That's your preference. I mean, as long as you find somebody who's willing to like meet you where you're at with that preference, somebody who will like allow you to do that. Um, that's fine, I guess. But what would be the problem with somebody who's gay who wants to have safe sex with their partner?
Say that again.
Yeah, what would be the problem with somebody who is gay and they want to have safe sex with their partner?
Well, the problem is that's like I said when I first got on here is your anal is not something you shove in and out of. It's just an exit hole for your digestive system, dude.
Well, you can use
Like the
lots of parts for
vagina.
lots of things.
The vagina is not it doesn't digest anything. Nothing exits there
Nothing exits the vaginal canal.
besides what's that word called?
It starts with a B.
There's
Are you gonna
other
say?
things
Are
as
you gonna
well.
say? Are you
Your
gonna say
uterine lining
baby?
sheds.
Yeah.
Like what? Bro, there's several functions of the vaginal canal, and seed can be distributed inside of there, and then there's also a G spot in there, just like there's a G spot in the back end. Now, it sounds like you just have an issue with watching gay sex. Congratulations, don't watch it. I don't watch it either. You and I are on the same team. Cool. You don't like it, don't watch it. I don't know why that would make anybody immoral.
I still think the same way when it comes to lesbians.
You don't hold on. You don't like the idea of two women kissing as a straight man?
I think it's wrong, but I think it could be somewhat of attractive. Like, for example, if I married somebody, I would no way in hell would like for her to do that. But if there's like somebody that I'm just messing with, like just like a little side hoe, I mean, go ahead and go do that. Go be yourself. But I wouldn't marry somebody like that.
Well, that's not the question I asked you. I didn't ask if you'd marry a bisexual woman. I said, do you find attraction in like two women kissing as a straight man? Like, or are you attracted to like watching a man and a woman
It's
kiss?
a yes and no for me. It's a yes and no.
Well, are you attracted to watching a man and a woman kiss?
Not that I'm attracted to that, but I think, oh, okay, cool. Like, there's a couple right there. Great.
Nice. Asexual king.
W? Just sounds like you know.
See, it
are
kind of
not
sounds
really
like you find
attracted.
it all, it's all gross to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just weird watching people make love. That's all.
That's fine. That's like a valid feeling, but that doesn't seem to be an indict of gay people. If you think that you don't like
But if
seeing
I
people
think-
kiss, that's like fine. That's like valid. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to watch. Like, if you just want to, be with your partner and, make love with your partner, do that.
What is the point of these lives for you guys?
To help people unpack their biases, man, to try to change their minds about this. At the foundation of this is probably true for like most of the people that we talk to, is that there's just this like deep disgust reaction. And there's no logic behind a disgust reaction. You shouldn't, when you arrive at a conclusion and it's just because you find the thing gross, you should probably recognize that it's an irrational conclusion and perchance reevaluate it.
I guess. I mean, anybody who comes up here is never going to win with you guys. That's the same thing with like Democrats too, like Dean and Parker. You're never gonna win with them. You go ahead and
It's because they're
say
too
what you gotta
fucking
say.
goated. Yeah, I agree.
They're not goated.
Based opinions, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
Charlie Kirk
I think you know
already-
me and Ian have based opinions. That's why it's hard to argue against us.
Yeah.
No, Charlie Kirk already destroyed them, but R.I.P. homeboy.
No comment. No comment.
Yeah.
What you think? What
Well, I'll
happened?
say it.
I'm sure chat's thinking what I'm thinking, but no comment. Cancel culture is going like rabid nowadays.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Alrighty,
well, do you have anything else?
I'll be here listening to the other guesses that
Okay.
come up.
No,
He got
please-
what he asked for, is all I'll say.
No comment. No comment. He got what he asked for? Counting or not counting gang violence? Anyway, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you think that there is something wrong with being gay. And I also ask that you're 18 or older. You got to be 18 or older. Let's read some supers. Eat some shorts. Thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Why are you gay? The last guest. Sure. Virtuous Pat, thanks so much for the super chat. The question these folks need to answer is, why is anyone morally obligated to reproduce anytime they engage in carnal activity? That's true. I mean, they certainly don't hold to that. Unless they've never masturbated, which, you know, if somebody told me that they've never masturbated, I simply wouldn't believe them. Reverend Nate, thanks so much for the super chat. Don't be a fool, wrap your tool. Don't be silly, wrap your willy. Ice Reptilian, thanks so much for the super chat. Is this dude under the impression that a wife wouldn't peg their husband if he asks for it? Hetero couples could have that too. That's true. I should make them bite the craziest bullet of all the bullet bites, which is that they think pegging is wrong. But that's insane. I don't think anybody would ever agree to that. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe that there's something wrong with being gay. As we go to the very next guest. Oh wait, Molly, do we have more? Let me know, Molly.
We don't have more, but I can do a quick on TikTok. Please, 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 quadruple billion tap the screen and try to get that up. Let's see, we're at right at 30,000 now. Let's see if we can get to 50,000 in the next couple minutes. If everybody just does like 50 taps, that would be so cool. Also on TikTok, we just added some new emotes. If you send your daily heart me, you can be in the fan club and get access to some new emotes. And if you join as a super fan, you got even more. I added like 10 more today, maybe. We have a goal today of 20 heart me's. So please try to jump over to the gifting section into the exclusive tab, and top left you'll see the heart me. That gives you all the fun emotes, and it super helps out with the algorithm. And click on the while you're over there, click on the go popular also. That's another one that gives a direct algo boost on TikTok. So that's really cool. Already up to 40K likes. Look at you go. Look at you go. Keep going. We can do it.
Proud of you.
And then also just everyone, please remember to join the Discord. It's discord.gg/allegedlyian. For members, we have a whole special channel for members only. If you're a subscriber on TikTok, superfan, a member on YouTube, a subscriber on Twitch, or if you server boost the Discord server, you can be in that channel. So open a ticket on the server if you're in the server and not in that channel and want access. It's really good. We post behind the scenes stuff. Yesterday we posted a knee shot, so that was super special, super special. Everyone loved it.
Yeah,
and,
it was a knee
and
reveal.
Bingo
The knee
also.
reveal that we've all been waiting for.
Yep, so much fun. Okay,
Yep.
that's all.
Yep. Okay. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Let's go to the next guest. Hey, King Vegeta. How's it going? How old are you? Yep. Is there any way that we could get like not the screaming child?
Yes. My bad.
That's okay. Yeah. Do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
I do, but not in the sense that I feel like most people assume. The thing that I would say is wrong about being gay is just fundamentally every species on Earth strives to continue, strives to keep going, strives to reproduce, strives to provide for their offsprings and make sure that the species continues. If every human on Earth turned gay today, the human species would end.
So, okay, evolution operates at the level of the gene. At the individual gene is the level that evolution operates at. So that leads to like certain configurations of animals where the genes overall will get passed down, even though individual members might not be the ones that are doing the reproducing. So a good example of this is ants. If I'm not mistaken, I think only the queen ant and then the drones reproduce. Nobody else reproduces. All the rest of them, you know, they work and they do all the stuff of that the ant mound needs, but you know they don't reproduce the worker ants, if I'm not mistaken.
You are
So
100% right.
yep. Oh, I'm wrong.
No, right. I
Oh,
said
sure,
you're
sure, sure, sure.
100%
You're
right.
fine. You're fine. Yeah. But similarly, I mean, the reason why genetics that would lead people to being gay are selected for is because there's an evolutionary advantage to people who will add to society, but they won't have too many children. It's almost like a population cap. And this is seen also in the statistics that the single greatest predictor for whether or not like a new baby will be gay or not is whether or not there are already sons born from this person. The more sons that you have, the more likely it is that one of them is going to turn out to be gay. You know, just on, and there's like good evolutionary reason for that. You know, if you have lots and lots of children, then population is booming, which means that you might not want all of these people to themselves go and have children, so that there might be like a good natural cap there, if that makes any sense.
I would say by definition something right or wrong whenever it comes to the human species is what allows it to continue. And to me, being gay doesn't do that. So I can't say, I'm not, it's not like I'm saying it's wrong in the sense of, oh, I'm going around telling everybody they shouldn't do it, because everybody has the freedom to do whatever they want to do.
Like,
You know, it doesn't gross me out. I'm not, if I see a gay couple walking down the aisle, I'm not going to the next aisle. I'm still getting what I got to get. It don't bother me. It doesn't disturb me. But fundamentally, right or wrong, to me, I have to say that if it doesn't allow us to continue, it's not right.
Do you think
Okay.
raping people is right or wrong?
Again, I'm not saying that anything that allows us to reproduce is right. I'm just saying that something that definitely doesn't allow us to reproduce is not right.
But
You
okay,
can't
let's say-
compare somebody raping someone to someone
Can I ask
willfully
a question?
agreeing to have sex. That's not even the same comparison at all.
Well, I think it's like quite relevant. So you're saying that the thing that's wrong about being gay is that it means that you're not going to have children, which means that it's going to be detrimental to the human species. So let's say that there was like a woman and she said,
Objectively speaking, if something is good, I am trying to get everybody to do it.
yes.
If you get everybody to be gay, it ends the human species as a whole.
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not sure why I would think that. So I'm not saying that being gay is good. I'm saying it's permissible. I don't think everybody should be gay. You know, a good comparison here. I think it's totally fine to be an artist. If you dedicate your life to making art, I think that's totally fine. But then if everybody was an artist, we would all die because nobody would be making the food. So I think some people can be artists, and that's fine.
I wonder if you have an issue with like disabled people. Like, let's say you take like a level 3 autistic person who's like nonverbal. Do you think that they shouldn't be allowed to exist because they can't reproduce?
No. See, and again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be allowed to exist. The question
sorry.
is,
Not rather
or
they
the
shouldn't be
statement
allowed to
is,
exist.
there
I'm
is
sorry, asking if they're
nothing wrong. There is
I'm not-
nothing wrong.
Do you think there's something
Sorry,
wrong with being an artist?
As a whole, to the species, yes, there is a flaw there.
Is there something wrong
That's
with being
my
an
only
artist?
statement. No.
Oh, but if everybody was an artist, then nobody would be making the food and we would all die.
So are you trying to push people being gay with this live? Yes or no?
It depends what you mean by push people being gay. Like, I don't think
Because
anybody.
you're
I
when
don't think being gay
we're
is a
scrolling,
choice.
the only thing that we see is a rainbow with "there is nothing wrong with being gay."
I don't think being gay is a choice, so I'm not
Okay,
really sure what it means to.
I don't think that you can I don't think that you can just objectively say that there's nothing wrong with hardly anything in the world. Everything to some
I
degree
think you
has a flaw.
can. Well, wait. So specifically, what's in question is whether or not it's wrong in like a moral sense, like the sort of thing that everybody has reason to not do. So
Well,
I think
moral sense depends on the person. It depends on what morals you have. Morals are not something that are objectively right or wrong.
I disagree with that. I think morals are objective, but that's kind of like a separate conversation. Or I guess maybe it's like relevant. But no, I think that morals are going
Well,
to come
some
down
people
to having
morally
like
think you
virtuous
can only have one
dispositions.
wife.
And
Some people morally think you can have multiple. Some people think that you can only be married to one person. Some people think that you can be married to
I think,
multiple, man
well, I
or
think all
woman.
those things are permissible.
You know that falls into the morals you were raised with. What were you taught? What did you learn?
Well, I don't think that's quite true because one of the things that I believe very strongly in is veganism, but I was raised in a society where vegans are in fact made fun of, but rather like the consistency of the vegan moral position and the inconsistency of the non-vegan position, the logic drives you to adopt certain conclusions, even if these conclusions differ from the society that you exist in. So I think the same thing can be
Well,
true
I think
with
you
just like via
misunderstood
like
what I was
rational
saying there.
reflection.
When I said what you were taught and what you were learned, I'm saying when you're younger, as in a child, you are taught. Once you spread your wings and you go into the world, you start learning yourself.
Okay, I
So
agree.
your morals are taught to you in the beginning, but then you learn to find your own as you go into the world.
I totally agree with that. Yeah. But I'm of the belief that you can, through rational reflection, you can arrive at certain objective moral facts.
Yes, I would say that.
Yep. So I'm saying that
Through some, but not all.
through what?
Through some, but not all.
Yeah. Well, what you could do, you could develop like analogies between one case and like another case. Like, for example, what's different between, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a straight couple who just chooses not to have children. And if I don't think that there's anything wrong with being a straight couple that just chooses not to have children, then I'm not sure what I would think is wrong. If that's not wrong, then why would it be wrong to be gay and to not have kids? These
Well,
things are analogous, but there's no
again,
feature
I
that
said
distinguishes
morally
them.
speaking,
Yeah.
I have no problem with anyone being gay.
Okay.
I have no problem with anyone choosing to do whatever they want to do. That is your right. Per my belief, no matter where you're born, no matter where you're at, you have the right to choose to do you, whatever you may so choose. As long as you're not harming anybody else, what's it to anybody else? First and foremost, I can't stress that enough. The only thing that I was speaking on is, again, just nothing wrong. That statement is inaccurate.
Why? What's wrong
to
with
me.
it?
Because if there's nothing wrong with it, everyone could do it and we would continue to flourish.
That doesn't follow. I mean, for example, it goes back to like the artist counter example. I don't think there's anything wrong with being an artist, but if everyone was an artist, then we would all die because we would just all starve to death because there are no farmers. I don't think that means that there's something wrong with being an artist. I think if anything, what that says is that, society itself shouldn't be entirely composed of artists, but that's like an obligation at the level of the society, not at the level of like the individual.
Okay, I understand that.
So, I mean, would you say that there's something wrong with being an artist?
I've already answered that. No,
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah, but then it would seem like that would fit under your same logic, that if everyone was an artist, well, we would all die.
Define artist. What you mean
Just
by
like somebody
artist?
who does like, yeah, it's interesting that you asked that question. I think it's a bit hard to
Are you
define what art
include like
is, but
musical arts,
yes,
painting,
yes,
everything all
yeah,
wrapped
just
up
all of
into
that,
one?
just like the standard usage of the term. Yeah.
Okay.
We could get very specific with it if you'd prefer. We could say, you know, if everybody was a painter, then we would all die because nobody would make the food.
No, I just wanted to make sure I was enclosing everything. I didn't want to make the wrong assumption.
Yep.
You stating that is enough to clarify.
Yep.
I wasn't trying to beat you down. I
No,
was
it's
just
totally
trying
fine.
to understand your statement wholly.
Yep. It's totally fine. No problem.
And while I don't think being an artist is bad, I do think that if everyone, like you said, turned into an artist, then yes, there would be a problem with it.
Yeah. And I agree. I think if everyone turned gay, that would be a problem in terms of like the longevity of the human species. I just don't think that that's like relevant because that's not the scenario we find ourselves in.
I can understand that.
Well, do you have any reason to think that it's wrong? Otherwise, I might move to the next guest.
No, you go ahead and move to the next one. I've
Hey,
stated
thanks.
my
I
reason.
appreciate
We're
it.
just
Yeah.
clearly not going to agree.
Yep, you should give it some thought. All right, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all the good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you think that there is something wrong with being gay. Let's read. True. Banger question, Molly. Ask him if it's wrong, or ask him if it's okay to be a man. If we were all men, then we would all die. Therefore, it's wrong to be a man. Falconhoof, thanks so much for that super chat. The calls have been 99% about anal and 1% about love. It's very telling. Big W for AG, by the way. Great co-host. I agree. AG is a great co-host. Atheist in a foxhole, thanks so much for the super chat. Incels/Nazis hate watch you daily. That's true. I thrive off of their tears. They satiate me. Wait one sec. Do we Oh no, wait, Molly, is the vertical live going? You can just drop it in chat. Oh, okay, cool. Excellent. C-Bar, thanks so much for the super chat. Thanks for running this great topic. Love to Ian and AG. Wishing a happy and loving 25th to my beautiful husband a few weeks early. That's great, C-Bar. Congratulations. That's really, 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 really cool. I strive to be in a relationship that's that long. Jeremy, thanks so much for the super chat. Dear chat, most homophobes are straight, actually. That's probably true. Yeah, I mean, I get like I'm not too big of a fan of like all these homophobes are actually gay themselves meme. Although I do think there's like probably like a kernel of truth there. I wouldn't assume that the average homophobe is like secretly gay, but it is like really funny when it turns out that like a very vocal homophobe is gay. All right, let's go to the very next guest.
Really quick for the YouTube crowd, we do have a vertical stream going, but it's all on one link now. So YouTube is doing this automatic split thing that they're testing out. So we are in the early adoption crowd for that. And so there is a vertical stream, but you will only find it if you are scrolling on shorts. If you go directly to the profile and stuff, you're going to see the horizontal stream.
Okay. This is good info. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
It's not echoing or nothing, no background noise?
Nope. Yeah.
All right.
Sure. How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 22.
And do you think that there's something wrong with being gay?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. What makes you think that there's something wrong with being gay? Like, what about it would make it
Yeah.
wrong?
So I mean, I think the first thing is kind of like an instinctual thing. I guess I would put it in the same like areas like incest. It's like technically like if you wear a condom, like incest isn't really bothering nobody, but it's like kind of weird. Like you would agree for the most part that like incest, like if you wear a condom, like it's still like a weird thing though, right? Even though it's not really harming nobody.
Sure. So there's a couple of things. I think that there's like a couple of like key disanalogies about incest. I think that the person you're wronging when you engage with incest is yourself. Namely, I think that there's like a ton of other sexual partners that you could be with. So you don't lose out on much by not sleeping with like this one specifically. But what's more is that, having family members, there's like certain roles that a family member can fill that are like very unique roles, like that a mother can fulfill in your life, or a father could fulfill in your life, or a sibling could fulfill in your life. And you kind of lose the ability to do any of that when you start fucking with that, or when you start fucking them. You completely lose out on the potential benefits that they could be adding to your life in favor of incest. So that would be a reason why you ought not engaging in incest.
I mean, isn't that subjective though? Like, look, if you look at the comments, they're
Nope,
all like,
I
"Oh
don't
my
think
god,
so.
incest!" But they're like, "Oh, incest, incest." But like, I mean, that's a subjective thing, right? I mean, what if y'all just have like
I'm a moral
I don't know,
realist. I
shit. What
think
if you love
morals
your
are
brother or your
objective.
sister a lot? Huh?
I'm a moral realist. I think morals are objective.
Yeah, they're objective, or they're object. You think they're objective?
Yeah.
How so?
I'm a virtue ethicist. I think that what it means to be moral is just that you're acting virtuously.
I mean I mean acting virtuously is subjective too, but
Nope.
yeah, I mean I just don't get how like you're saying that they have these other roles they could fulfill. I mean shit, they could be a lover and a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But then they would lose out on like all the benefits that they could provide as just being
I
your
mean
sibling,
you're
and you
just.
would lose
But
out on
how do
all
you
of
know though?
the what?
I mean, how do you know though?
Yeah,
How do
there's
you
like
know
lots
that?
of like unique roles that you're able to fulfill with just a sibling. Like, as a sibling, you can help assist in like raising your sibling when you guys are both young. You could also assist in this like unconditional like giving to them like love and appreciation in a way that you don't do for very many other people, that there's like something unique that bonds the two of you together, such that you don't have this thing with other people. And you kind of ruin it. You ruin the dynamic. You ruin your like
w-
family dynamic.
okay, what if you lose that dynamic, but you gain the other dynamic, so the dynamics just cancel out, so it just
Well, but
neutral
you
then.
could have that dynamic with somebody who wasn't your sibling. So you could have both.
Okay,
You could have the best of
what
both
if it's
worlds. You could
what if
have
it's your
both the
cousin? What
sibling
if it's your
dynamic,
cousin then?
and you could have the relationship dynamic with somebody else.
What if it's your first cousin that you've never like spoken to then? Would it
I'm
be fine
confused as
then?
to what this is asking.
I'm just asking like because when you talk
Are you
about
asking like, is it okay to sleep with your first cousin?
I think that's nasty, but
Yeah, I'm
like
inclined to think not, for pretty similar reasons.
what you think it's nasty or not
Yeah, I think
nasty?
it's nasty. Yeah. And
Yeah,
well,
so but
specifically, the
what
more relevant thing that I think it is immoral.
it's immoral. I mean, what if you never
But
met them
okay,
before?
wait. So I guess like to be clear, on your view, why would it be wrong to have sex with your sibling who's like a step sibling?
I don't know. I'd say it's wrong because, like, I mean, even though you're not necessarily biological, biologically related, at the same time, it's like you guys kind of like I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, I don't really know why it'd be weird, but it's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Well,
weird.
yeah, I mean, I think that it's gonna be wrong for like the reasons that I'm describing. Like, I think it's gonna be wrong based on like the family dynamics and like the losing of like unique relationship. I think it would be wrong for those reasons. But of course, like there's no way to go from that to like therefore like it's wrong to be gay.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's an instinctual thing. Like, you don't necessarily know why, but it's just like that. It just kind of odd to you.
Okay.
Like,
You
it's
can
just a
think
little
that,
weird.
well, to be clear, there's like a lot of data related to people's disgust reactions. Most everyone has a disgust reaction when they're presented like a picture of like gay people kissing, for example. If you
Okay.
yourself are straight, you're going to have a disgust reaction to a thing like that. And that's
Okay.
totally fine. It's just not a reason to think that it's wrong.
And that anal shit kind of, I already
You
know
can think it's
people were bringing
gross,
this up
but you
before.
thinking it's
But
gross
anal,
isn't a
like, there's
reason
all
to
the
think that
poop
it's wrong.
particles. Like, you can clean as much as you want, but all them poop particles still gonna be there. Like when you're eating ass, like, nah,
You can just wear
that's a
like
little nasty.
you can wear like a condom if that bothers
On your,
you.
is a condom on your
Also,
mouth
to be
or
clear,
on the asshole?
there's like poop particles all over the money that you spend every day. Like
Oh, I
every
know. I
single
mean,
dollar bill
I'm
is like
like
covered in
I'm
poop
a germaphobe.
particles.
I'm a germaphobe. Like I'm like I
Do you
wash
think
my
it's
hands like
wrong
very.
to use money given that it's covered in poop particles?
I don't use cash, so
But you do think that it's like wrong. Like if somebody else wanted to use cash,
I
would
don't
that be
touch
wrong?
money. It's not wrong, but it's kind of nasty.
Yeah,
You have to
that's
wash
you
your
can
hands
think
immediately.
that. You're welcome to
But that's
think
different.
that.
You're using your hands though. That you're using your hands when you eat the ass. You're using your mouth. Like that's kind of nasty. That's like that's how you
You're
get
more than
gonorrhea
welcome
and
to
all
think
that nasty
that.
shit.
Yeah. I just don't think something being gross gives me a reason to think that it's wrong. For example, I think that haggis, the Scottish dish, sounds absolutely fucking disgusting,
Oh,
but they
it
love
is.
it.
It
And I don't
is.
think that, if they enjoy it, I don't think that me finding it disgusting is a reason to think that it's wrong. Same thing goes with like the idea of your parents having sex. I'm disgusted by the idea that my parents are having sex
We
or
understand
like
that.
would have sex or had sex to have me. I don't think that the fact that I find that disgusting means that it's wrong.
Yeah, but so you're saying if it's disgusting, it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. But would you also say for things like bestiality and stuff like that, like
No,
would
I
that
think there's
also
a
be
wrong
wrong?
maker in bestiality. I think the pretty clear wrong maker in bestiality is that they're not consenting. Like the animal doesn't consent.
But what if the dog's like wolf? Like I don't know. Like I mean, some animals are horny. Maybe they like it too.
It's not consent, bud.
Why not? What if they
By
what if they
this
start
logic, you
first?
could have sex with a child if the child indicated that they wanted it. Even if the child is like, yeah, I want this, like they're a fucking child, they can't give consent.
But what if a dog like try to fuck you?
Then you fucking push it off of you. What?
but
Same thing that happens if like
what's
a
wrong with that though?
16-year-old tries to fuck you. You say no.
Yeah, that's like you don't want to go to jail. Like what? Why would I do that?
You have other reasons besides like going to jail to not do that.
But like, have you heard the stories of like dolphins like trying to fuck their trainers and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah, and you say
what's
no
wrong with that?
because the dolphin can't consent.
But how did it consent if it went on to you first? What?
I mean, you could make the same argument about like, I don't know, like a fucking 12-year-old that like reaches
No
for your
12-year-old's
dick or
gonna try to fuck you.
something.
What are you talking about? No 12-year-old's gonna try to come on to you. What?
To be clear, that happened. There's like tons of stories of that. Like
That
really
actually
young
happens?
people that in fact have like some attraction to like an adult and then make like a totally inappropriate like sexual advance towards them.
So you're saying there's been case or documented cases of like kids trying to talk to adults and then the adults like try to do it back.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's weird as fuck. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
But that's also
And it's
different
the
'cause, like,
obligation
we're
of the adult
humans,
to
so
say
it is different.
no. That's you can't consent. No.
But that's different though because we're humans. Like animals different. Animals aren't thinking all those things about like underage, overage, all that type of stuff. They just do it.
No, I understand that. They can't consent. They're incapable of giving informed consent.
So if you try to wipe your dog's ass, aren't you technically raping it?
No, what the fuck? Okay, you got to be
Because
trolling.
it can't give consent.
I didn't
it
think
can't
that
give
you were
consent.
trolling, but people are insisting that you're trolling, and
I'm
with
not.
a
I'm just
question
saying,
like
like,
that, it
okay,
makes me wonder.
but let's say like you're trying to clean your dog or something.
It's not a
Isn't
sex
that rape?
act, bud.
So
Wiping your
if you
dog's ass. Well, first of
Cleaning
all,
your dog.
there's no reason to wipe your dog's ass. Maybe if they have diarrhea. I don't know. I'm not a dog owner. But my understanding is that like dogs have like relatively clean butts compared to humans. That humans have like particularly unclean butts.
You're reaching for an
the
argument.
dog didn't consent to that. So why are you doing it? Like you see what I'm
Because
trying to
it's
say? Like
for their health.
okay, so if I try to clean your ass for your health, I don't know.
Well,
Like
I'm an
would
adult,
that?
so you don't need to do that. But yeah, I
look-
mean, parents clean their child's ass all the time. It's not a sex act.
Well, I know it's not. That's what I'm saying. But
Bro,
but
can
yeah,
you
the kid
please
didn't
get an
consent to
argument
it.
that's coherent? Like you're just reaching right now. Like it just sounds like you've come to the end of your dialogue tree and you have no argument anymore. And so now you're just asking if, wiping your dog's ass would be grape. Like what? Like can you please get an argument?
I mean, see what I'm trying to say? Like y'all
No.
are
No,
cool when it comes to gay.
nobody sees what you're trying to say.
Yeah, no,
You're
what I'm
like
trying to
moving
say.
the conversation so far out of like away from the topic. It's not even funny.
Yeah, why is it
I'm
wrong
not
to be
trying to be
gay?
funny. Huh?
Why is it wrong to be gay? Like in virtue of what?
Like I said, it's a natural visceral reaction. It's just not. It's
To you
I
or
I
to
know it's
everyone?
a thing that naturally occurs, but that doesn't
Gay
mean
people
that
don't have that
it's
natural visceral reaction. I have a natural visceral reaction when I think about my parents having sex. Does that make it wrong that my parents had
but that's not a
sex?
sexuality. That's not a sexuality.
Well, it's a type
Okay,
of sex that I
what do
find
you think?
disgusting.
What do you think about two lesbians kissing? You find that attractive or not?
Kinda.
Yeah, exactly, right. So
Do you
it's
think
because it's
that's
a woman.
wrong?
Lesbians, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I do see. I'm being a hypocrite now, but I do kind of find it attractive. But
bud.
Oh,
yeah, maybe
this is
But
like a
it
good
sounds like you have a
reason.
bias
Yeah.
towards specifically gay men, bro. Like if you have a bias specifically towards gay men because of what Ian's already discussed with you of the cognitive science towards disgust, that's not a reason to think it's wrong because you just contradicted yourself when you
wait,
said it'd
are
be
you,
fine for
ma'am?
lesbians.
Are you lesbian?
I am, yeah.
Do you eat ass or no?
No, I don't eat ass.
Okay, exactly. See what I'm trying to say? Gay
But that's
people
my
eat ass.
preference. But that's a preference
Not
I
all gay
have. That
people
doesn't
eat
mean that it's
ass.
wrong
Think
to
about
eat
how
ass.
tight. Think
Hey,
about how tight an asshole is compared to a vagina.
I don't care how tight an asshole is. That doesn't mean that the preference is wrong. You would
Like
have to
how
substantiate that the
how can you
preference is
stick
wrong
a
for someone to have anal. Like heterosexual couples do more anal. Like what?
and think about like how tight it is. It's probably causing
This
all
guy,
your
You're
your
really
he
thinking
has
about
to
how
be
tight it is,
trolling. He
bro. He
has to be
has to be.
I'm
trolling.
not. I'm not. I mean, think
Yes,
about
you
Okay.
are, bro.
Yeah, I'm convinced. Okay, yeah. That's fuck. If he was trolling that entire time, it's like low key. It's like low key funny, but I don't know. He spends lots of time thinking about how tight gay assholes are.
Yeah, I think that's why he struggles with himself. If he's
True.
not.
Redwood Dragon, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. We could all be gay and we could still make babies. I hate that argument. That's true. I mean, like you know, presumably you could have something like the fucking like turkey baster, and then I don't know what the fellas would do, but
Surrogacy for like I always say it just would be a
true.
it would just
You
be a
know,
more organized society because there would be, and this is just if we were to say everybody's cisgender, if we had, trans people in the mix, it would be much different. You wouldn't be, you would have, accidental pregnancies if like
sure.
a trans woman wanted to
Sure.
procreate that way. But I don't get this argument because one, like you said, turkey baster, we would just make it that seed donating is just free, right? So then, and then all gay men would do is just like obviously help if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously
The
wouldn't
gay men could make a deal. They could be like, okay, you get the first one, and then, I'll get the second one.
Yeah, or
Two-
the
two
couple that
turkey
doesn't want to have their own
bastings.
child, because there's going to be couples that don't have their own child, can just, be a surrogate.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Andrew, thanks so much for the $30 super chat. That kicks ass. Let's get a big W for Andrew. That's genuinely incredible. Hey, Athena, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. We have to catch up soon. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you have some reason to think that being gay is wrong. Only request to join if you disagree. Whoa, Cloud Pen Dragon, thanks so much for the $20 super chat. That's massive. That's huge. I really appreciate that, Cloud Pen Dragon. I feel like I was too flippant with Andrew's super chat. $30 is a lot of dollars. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do like the fucking loop. Andrew, thank you so much for the $30 super chat and all of the rest of the support that you've given. It's like genuinely extremely beneficial to the channel. I'm capable of getting all the tech, all the improvements that I want to do to the channel in virtue of folks like you. I appreciate you. Cloud Pen Dragon, thanks so much for the $20 super chat. Again, that's also a large number of dollars. That inspired me to read Andrew's again and yours again. Let's get a big W for Cloud Pen Dragon. Thank you. All right, let's go to the very next guest. Hey, how's it going?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Yep. And do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
Yeah. There's like multiple things I do want to focus on. I don't think people are born that way. I've heard earlier that you think people are born that way. Can I
Yeah,
hear
there's just
your
going to be
reasons
like
for
some
that?
statistical evidence that I think you're going to be unable to explain.
Are you
So
gonna be? Yeah,
Yep.
is your argument like they're more likely to be gay or they are to be gay?
Just that there's extremely strong evidence that for a genetic basis among
What,
gay
like
people.
4% chance of them being gay? I mean, the most I've heard is like them, like I think it was like between 5 to 8% chance
So
of them being gay.
here's a statistic that I think is quite interesting. It's actually two statistics that I think is quite interesting. Maybe you could help explain that. So the first is that if you're an identical twin and your identical twin is gay, you're 5 times more likely to be gay than the general population. You're like 70%. There's like a 70% chance that you're gay if your identical twin is gay. Even if
I
you're
mean, there's more
separated via things
factors.
like adoption, that the stat still holds. But for non-identical twins, it's cut in half. It's still way above the average likelihood to be gay. You're 2.5 times more likely to be gay if your non-identical twin is gay, but you're
Wait, you said
less likely than
70
if
for
your identical
70%
twin is
chance?
gay. And
You
keep in
said
mind, I
70%
think I could
chance?
be wrong about this, but I think you only share half the genetics with your as a non-identical twin, you would only share half the genetics roughly than if you're an identical twin. But I could be wrong about that. Maybe the math works out differently.
Wait, so you said 70% chance likely to be
Yeah,
gay
it's like
if
if
you have a
you're
twin brother?
if you have
I've not heard of that.
an identical twin, yeah.
I've heard it was about like between 20% to 20%, but I've never heard 70% chance. I don't know where you're getting that from, but
I can give you the
and
study.
even if I
Happy to.
sure,
Gay
and even if
identical
I grant you
twin.
that, why not 100%?
Because probably what actually accounts for it is epigenetics. That what's going on here is that there's like specific environmental factors that then work on these genetic factors to either express the genes or not express the genes. The most likely environment that seems to determine whether or not you're going to be gay is the womb. The womb accounts for whether or not a person is going to turn out to be gay, and a good indication of that is that the more sons a mother has, the more likely it is that her next son will be gay. That's like the strongest predictor of being gay is if you already have like a ton of sons, or the chances that you'll give birth to a gay son go up astronomically. The only way you could possibly account for that, because it's not the genetics changing, but it must be the epigenetic expression that's changing, which is why when you actually do studies to see like the rate of hormones in wombs that have bared lots of sons versus the ones that have not bared lots of sons, I think there's like a massive increase in androgen in those wombs, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, like I don't know, like see how you say like, oh, if you have more brothers, you're more likely to be gay. But the thing is, we don't even know what causes them to be gay. It's like, oh, if this happens, then oh, you're more likely to be gay, or
Well,
it's
I'm
like,
telling you like a likely model that fits the data better than any other model. The epigenetic
I
model, the
mean,
idea that what determines whether or not someone will be gay is based on the conditions that they're subjected to in the womb combined with their DNA. That is a pretty good indication that it's
yeah, but we can't
epigenetic.
even we can't even identify it like in our biology or in our brain. We don't even know what it is. Like, it's just,
We don't
oh,
even know
if
what
you
is.
what part of body makes us gay, or
Like the
or how it
brain.
affects our thinking, or how we, how we process things
Well,
through biological.
it's in the mind, so it's gonna reduce to the brain ultimately.
Because, like, for example, if someone is a psychopath, we can study this by like looking how their emotional range, right? We can see this.
Well, that's because antisocial personality disorder is a disorder. So we base that off of a lack of empathy and remorse, and so they would be under an
No, no.
antisocial personality. No, no, we don't have. There's no such thing as psychopathy. Like that's not a disorder. Like that's just something we put on to. It's antisocial
Yeah, I
personality
know.
disorder. So
Yeah.
well, if you know that, but if you're using a word and saying that we can see if people are, psychopaths, that's not true. We can see if people have a disorder, which would be antisocial
Yeah,
personality
same thing.
disorder. Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you're just
But
you're
we, of course, if we have symptoms that link up to why we can diagnose somebody with a disorder, then yes, it's going to be much more complex when we're talking about something like sexual orientation. The same things that you're struggling with to understand are just lack of science that eventually we will understand, and that goes for your sexual orientation too with heterosexuality. Like we're talking sexual orientation across the board, but Ian's being a little bit more specific about like where like how people are become gay or can become gay, or the predisposition and how that arises.
I mean, sure, yeah, but the difference between psychopathy and that is we can empirically study that. We can see that in the brain.
That's what
Unlike
no, we can't see that in the brain. That's not true.
we can.
We can't see a lack of remorse. No, that's somebody telling
We
you they
can
have a lack
see
of remorse.
no, not the lack of remorse. We can see their emotional range. That's how we know if someone is
Well,
a
I mean, then you
No.
can,
psychopath or
well,
not.
by this logic, you could see if somebody's gay by showing them like a picture of, I don't know, like gay sex and then measuring
You
like their
kind of cut off.
reaction to it.
They said it by this
Yeah,
logic
no,
that you
that's the
get
thing. But we can't empirically study. We don't even know what gay is. You don't even know what gay is. We don't even
Oh
know
yeah, I
what
take
they're
that to be, I
attracted to.
take gay to be something like, a man who's attracted to another man.
But what is a man though? We don't know what's it's a social
We-
Holy
construct.
shit,
It's
dude.
not
This
something
I think
biological.
I'm talking to like an actual brain in a vat. This guy just doesn't know anything.
No, but it's not
we
like
can just use
biological.
your.
A man is not a biological. You even agree
That's
with
not.
that?
That's
Based? I do
yeah.
agree with
Do,
that,
do
yeah.
you think a man is biological? Like
It can be under if we're gonna like
the
go off
idea
your
of a
frame.
man.
It can be if we're going to go off of your framework, but like if you're using a gendered, a gendered sociological categorization of like man or woman, then no, we wouldn't be talking about that. But if we're just going off of yours for the sake of the conversation, then we would be talking about like maybe what you would say is like an adult human male.
No. Even yeah, with mine, I see a person like a man or a female, like
Mm,
not something
the
like
two genders.
like yeah, but the thing is like our body doesn't really know what a man or a female is like.
Wait,
The two
what?
genders, man and female.
I mean, not a man. I mean, man or a woman. Like our body doesn't know that. We create like a construct or like socially what a man and a woman is. So like
I agree with
being gay is
this,
like a
sure.
person who's yeah, right. So it's not biological. It's just something we create and then we attach our sexual or like sexuality into that identity of a
Yeah,
man
that's
or a
why the
woman.
sexual orientation would be something like a persistent attraction, sexual and romantic attraction towards woman or man, right, or a lack thereof. That's why you would attach the social meaning of what you just said to about gender to then sexual orientation. That's why we use gender categories to say or define gay or
Also,
lesbian.
this critique applies equally to straight people.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I think I think the reason why most people are straight is because our society conditioned like us or our families conditioned us to like the opposite gender. I think we're conditioned. I don't think we are born to be straight or homosexual.
That just doesn't really
But
seem to engage with like the data that I presented. That there's
not
why
really. No,
would the number be?
you didn't even bring up an empirical data.
I did. I
You
can
just
give you
said
the
they're more
study.
likely to be. That's not really
Well,
just. But you
do
literally
you want
just
like
didn't.
the
You just said they're
specific
more
number? Like
likely to
I
be
told you the
gay.
specific number. For identical twins, they're 5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay. For non-identical twins, they're 2.5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay.
Wait, what is the five? Okay, you said 5 times more likely. Wait, what does that mean? Like a
Than the
person who, what is the, wait,
than
what
the
is the
general
chance of a person being gay?
population.
It's like, yeah, it's like 1%, right?
I have no
Like
idea.
5%?
It could
What
be.
is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, sure. So that's like 10% chance. That's what I've heard.
Well, sorry. I think it's I wonder what this is in comparison to, because I know the study claims that there's like a 70% chance.
It's not 70% chance. I guarantee you that. I've never heard of
Let's
70%.
What
I've
do
heard
you
about like 10 to 15.
But what are you arguing against here? Like What is your
What I'm
argument?
saying is people are not born gay or straight.
Oh,
I'm saying is no one is born.
are you saying nobody's born with a sexual orientation?
Yeah.
Okay, so what
I
is
think
your claim
we are
then?
conditioned.
Okay, so you think that sexual orientation arrives from like
It's
somebody like
conditioned.
okay, but explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, I think we are conditioned to be straight or gay. I
Yeah,
think
wait,
our
what's the
Okay, so
evidence
then
for
how come
that?
our family's
conversion?
conditioned
If that's the case, then how come conversion therapy wouldn't work?
because people don't want to switch. I mean,
So
it's
they
like
wait.
no,
Even
hold on.
hang on,
Okay,
hang on.
I'll give you an
Even
example.
through
I
hang
thought
on,
they were
hang
I'll give you
on.
an
conditioning to it.
example.
No, hold on, hold on. Even through torture methods via electroshock therapy, pharmacological waterboarding, all of these like torture methods that we castrated people, and they were still gay. You think that in spite of that, they just chose to do that because they were conditioned to be gay, and they don't want to make their life easier. They would rather go through oppression.
Yeah, I mean, I can make the same argument. Yeah, but
No,
I can
respond
also
to
say
what I
like
said.
there's people
Just
who
respond to what I just said. Don't make a separate argument. Respond to what I just said.
they don't want to be straight. That's what I think.
Okay,
I don't think they want to be straight.
so you don't think the people that were being tortured would rather the alternative of not having to hide their sexual orientation when it was illegal for them to be gay and walk out in existence, but not be, and also they would rather choose to be gay and be tortured in society via being sent to a psych ward or something like that, or just tortured by family members. They would rather choose that than be straight. You genuinely believe that?
So what I think is it's either they don't want to be straight, or it's either they don't
Like,
know
what's
that
the
they could be straight.
incentive? But what's the incentive there? But we're talking like the 50s. What's the incentive for somebody to be gay in the 50s?
They don't think they can. They think they were born this way. They actually
They
don't
don't know
think
any
that they can
science.
be
There's
straight.
no science to tell them that they are born that way, by the way, in the 50s. They had no idea. In fact, they would typically stay in straight relationships to not deal with the backlash of, of societal standards. There was so much propaganda
I
against
mean,
gay people wasn't
there's
funny.
way. I mean,
Hang
okay,
on.
I can give you.
On top of that, it was illegal for you to exist as a gay person out in public and hold hands with somebody else of the same sex. If you were to go to a bar, you couldn't even go to a bar. You had to go to a bar that was like owned by the mafia. So what is the incentive for a gay person to exist in the 50s?
Because they want to be gay. I mean, I could make the same
But
argument.
Why would they
with,
want that?
no, that's a
I can give you
circle.
an example.
Why would
Hold
they
on.
want that?
It's not that they want it. It's that they don't have any other desires
Why wouldn't they have any other desires?
because that's how they were raised.
They were raised
By a
gay?
I can
straight
give you an
couple?
example.
You think they were
Wait.
raised gay?
How are they raised gay if they're raised by
No, they were conditioned to be gay.
No, they'd be conditioned to be straight because they lived in a heterosexual, homophobic
It's not
society.
true.
Yes, we had literal propaganda on ads and TVs about homosexual people in the 50s.
Yeah, but
That
sure,
they're
when they were
taking your
younger,
daughters and they're trying to pervert them into these devils. Like what you like have no idea what you're talking about. So what incentive would they be if they're being raised by homophobic heterosexual couples?
so there's like a lot of like ways this could happen, but the way it happens is when they're younger, right? They, as I said before, that they see the like the same sex as them, and they develop the
An attraction because that's how
sexual. Yeah,
that's how
and
homosexuality works, because you develop an attraction because you're predisposed to being gay via genes, hormones, and all these other things that Ian's listed, and then that
I
predisposition
didn't.
plays out in your younger ages of adolescence.
Yes, I did. Okay, wait. So I found it. So
I didn't.
it's titled "Homosexual Orientation in Twins: A Report of 61 Pairs and 3 Triplet Sets." So for monozygotic twins, which is identical twins, 65.8% concordance. So if your sibling is gay, there's a 65.8% chance that you will be gay for identical twins. And then it's a 30% chance for non-identical twins. This compares to a 7 to 10% chance for just brothers. How would you possibly explain that?
They were conditioned. They're siblings, bro. Like they're.
But why
they're
would it be?
raised in
Why
the
would the
same
number be
household.
different across these groups? What's different across these groups that could account
if you're
for
a twin,
this?
if you have a twin brother, you're gonna do everything the same way. Like if you have a brother or sister, you have different interests. You're not gonna like.
Why would it be different
Because when
for
you have
identical twins versus non-identical twins then?
Because twins do everything the same. They wear the same clothes.
Then why would it be
on
different? Why would the
purpose. They
number be
wanna do this.
different?
It would be different because brothers, like brothers who are not twins, they actually want to do
Wait,
something different.
why is the number different for identical twins and non-identical twins? Both are twins.
Just
Why is the
okay.
number different for them?
Yeah, because you said if they're
If they're
identical
identical
twins and they're
twins, there's a
brothers.
65% chance if your brother is gay that you'll be gay. If they're non-identical twins, there's a 30% chance of being gay if your brother is gay. Why would that be? They're both twins.
You said okay. First of all, you said 60% chance.
Yeah,
Like, how did you come
65% chance. Why would that be? Explain that.
First of all, like the 60% chance, I disagree with that. It is 60% chance. But
Okay,
second of
so
all,
you reject the study. What's your refutation of the study? The study again is homo. Oh, actually, do
dude,
you even know the name
you
of the
came.
study that you disagree with?
No, you literally went from 5 times to being gay to 60% chance. That's so different.
Oh, it
That's like
depends on
not
what we're
even.
specifically comparing it to. I'd have to look at like the way that I calculated the number in the first place, but for like the 5 times number, I could have presumably just multiplied like the chance of the brothers being gay, like the non-twin brothers being gay by the likelihood, and arrived at that.
Yeah, but the thing is, at
Also,
the end of the day,
still no explanation. I'm not going to let you pivot. Explain why the number is different.
different. Yeah, they're different because twin brothers are more likely to do the same activity
They're
or like
all
wear the same
twins. You're not
clothes.
tracking. Every person that
Yeah,
I'm
but they're
talking
more
about
likely
here is
to
a
do this.
twin. Maybe I need it. Maybe I'll like put it in writing for you. Like maybe that would be helpful.
Wait, so what's the study?
Yeah, the name of the study: Homosexual Orientation in Twins, a report on 61 pairs and 3 triplet sets.
I mean, I'll probably have to look that up later, but as I
Okay.
said,
Well,
twins,
wait, but
if
then
they
can you
are
just like grant it now for the sake of argument? If you have no refutation to it, what would be your explanation for the difference in statistics? We can change this to an identical twin is in identical twins if the brother
what is
is
the percent
gay,
chance of
then there is
yeah, what
a 65% chance of the other brother being gay.
so is the other one like a 40% chance?
If one brother is gay. Okay. And then in this one, it's a 30% chance. In non-identical twins, there is a 30% chance of being gay. So in identical
Even if I
twins,
grant
if
it-
one brother is gay, then there's a 65% chance of the other brother being gay. In non-identical twins, if one brother is gay, then there's a 30% chance of the other brother being gay. If there isn't a genetic basis for this, why is the number different?
Even if I grant it, like it wouldn't make sense that it is 65%. It would make more sense if it's like 95 to 100% chance.
Well,
First of
wait,
all, and
but
second of
okay,
all,
so you would grant that it's
identical
not a
twins are
choice,
more likely.
though?
No, you don't. We don't even know
If
what
it's
being gay is.
if it's a
Literally.
choice, then how could you explain the difference in statistics here?
Yeah, the twins are more likely to do the same thing.
They're both groups are twins. You're still not tracking.
I don't know. I haven't heard of this.
Data
before.
point 1, twins. Data point 2, twins. They're all twins.
Yeah, but then why is it not 100%? Why is it 65?
Do you have any
Wouldn't it make sense
explanation
if it
for
was
this?
90?
Before we pivot away, can you explain the data, or can you concede that there must actually be a genetic basis here?
No,
It doesn't need to be 100% genetic, but there's definitely a genetic basis.
We don't even know what that is. Like we literally have
Okay.
no clue what that.
Do you
or how
deny that there
it can
must
relate.
be some genetic basis here?
Yeah,
Then how would you
would.
possibly explain the data points that are in front of you?
I have not heard of this before.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to.
Never heard of 65% chance someone being.
I'm happy
gay,
to.
of like twins.
Oop, fuck. Happy to get up to date. You know what we can do. Fuck. Let me. Where the heck? I keep on moving this. Okay. We can read it. We'll read through it together for the first time, and then we'll get your response after we read it. Twin pairs in which at least one twin is homosexual were solicited through announcements in the gay press and personal referrals in the 1980s to the present. An 18-page questionnaire on the sexuality of twins was filled out by one or both twins, 38 pairs of monozygotic twins, 34 pairs or 34 male pairs and 4 female pairs were found to have a concordance rate of 65.8% for homosexual orientation. 23 pairs of dizygotic twins were found to have a concordance rate of 30.4% for homosexual orientation. In addition, 3 sets of triplets were obtained. 2 sets contained a pair of monozygotic twins concordant for sexual orientation, with the third triplet dizygotic and discordant for homosexual orientation. A third triplet set was monozygotic, with all 3 concordant for homosexual orientation. These findings are interpreted as supporting the argument for a biological basis in sexual orientation. Yeah, what would you make of that?
As I said before, there's nothing in our biology that shows us whether someone is straight, born straight, or gay. And like the closest thing I'd come up to with that is like I don't really know. I haven't heard of that. I'll look into it, but like you can't even explain like
What
my
studies
questions
have you
too.
read,
So it's
Hannibal?
like we're just like at a stalemate.
Hannibal, what studies have you read?
Studies for. I mean, I don't need to read
In
any
support of your
studies.
view. You don't need
Hannibal,
to read.
can
You
you
don't need,
can
you
you
don't need to
name
read
Hannibal? Can you name one
studies in
Do you
single?
support of
disagree
your
with what
Wait,
I'm
views.
I'm
saying?
so sorry. I'm so
Do
sorry.
you disagree with what I'm
Wait,
saying?
Hannibal, can you name one single study? It doesn't need to be related to this. It can be related to literally any field. Any field you want. Name one study.
This isn't relevant.
Okay.
Like,
I think that's
do
like
you
pretty
disagree
telling
with what
that
I'm
you can't name a
saying?
single study of any field. You couldn't name like an economics study, a biology study, a chemistry study, like a philosophy
You don't even
paper.
disagree with what I'm saying, though.
Of course I
Yes, we
do.
do.
You think
That's
that
what
it's a
we've been saying the
choice.
entire time. Also,
Yeah, but you
Hannibal,
haven't
hang
given me
on.
any empirical data.
That
I,
was
I
empirical
literally,
data.
I
oh
do have
my,
some empirical
okay.
data for
That
you.
was just
If
more
you wanna,
likely to be. That's not empirical data that
And
someone
what
is
do you think
born.
empirical
What is
data
empirical?
is?
Yeah.
That we can see without. We can see in their biology whether someone is born gay or not.
No, studies
Like
like this are
that's not.
also
You're just
included
saying
as
they're more
empirical
likely to
data.
be this way.
Surveys are an
This
example
is
of empirical data.
Yeah, no, that's not. It's just more likely to be
Okay.
this way. It's
Well, then
60% chance. That's not even 100% chance, or like
that's like very
99%
stupid if you
chance.
don't
It's
think that that's
60.
empirical data
Why wouldn't it be like 95% chance then?
because
because
it's
it's
If they're
epigenetic.
multifactorial, dude.
twins,
Yeah.
if they're twins, why is it 60% chance? You know, like for twins, it should be like at least 99 to like 98% chance.
No, you don't have a good understanding of how this stuff works. So like even if you're in the same, intrauterine environment, like you're not exposed to the exact same androgens and estrogens, like during your formative years, you're not exposed to the exact same experiences. They're very, very similar, which is why there's a much higher concordance between, identical twins and even non-identical twins than the general population, right? But it's not going to be like you are not living the exact same, moment for moment, molecule for molecule life as your twin. And
Yeah,
so
but they're
those,
twins.
those slight differences, because it's such a multifactorial, thing, those slight differences are going to lead to these ultimate differences in sexual orientation. So there's a high concordance, but it's not going to be 99%. That's insane.
Yeah, but 60% chance for twins?
That's very high.
You got to be kidding
That's
me.
very high.
Yeah, but for twins, it should be at least like 99 to.
I just explained why it wouldn't
even
be.
90. Yeah, but
Wait, can you
60%
summarize back to us?
chance.
Wait, Hannibal, I just want to make sure that you were listening. Can you summarize back to us what Jordan just said to you?
That like there's some, they're not
Brutal.
gonna be 100% chance the same way, like due to like it be environment or like when they were born in their mother's womb, or I don't know, like.
Maybe you should ask
Yeah, but even
clarification
with that,
questions instead of trying to like reaffirm your conclusion. I mean, if your debate
no,
strategy relies on you making like
sure.
baseless claims, getting corrected, not listening to the correction, and then making the same baseless claim, I think you're going to be disappointed when we stop you every single time that you failed the track, and then we ask you to re-explain it back to us, and then it's just going to be like a horrible rhetorical look when it seems like you weren't even listening.
I mean, I was listening, but it just doesn't explain to why it's 60% chance.
You
If
clearly
they're
weren't
twins, it would
listening.
be
We
at
just heard
least.
you. We just heard back what you heard, and it sounds like you
Was
didn't
I
listen at
wrong?
all.
Was I wrong?
You didn't say anything.
It's like this slight, like could be
If your
environmental or
summary
like
of what Jordan said is like, it's not a 100% chance even in twins, without being able to like go into details about how just because it's twins doesn't mean that they're going to be exposed to the exact same intrauterine chemicals and compounds. I mean, it just
I
seems
mean,
like
yeah,
you
he
you
kind of
kind of
said
like
nothing too, though.
fundamentally, oh, this guy's
He
literally a
was just
doctor,
kind of
right?
sure, but he was just kind of yapping too. Like he didn't really say much. He just said, "Oh, like could be like chemical changes," and yeah, sure, but what does that even mean? Like you don't even know what being gay is. Like you're just saying some random things that doesn't explain why there it's 60% chance on twins. By the way, like
Bro, I fucking hate it when this stupid fucking like piece of shit, went to school for 15 years, doctor, just keeps on yapping.
I mean, he's a doctor. You
What's
should you should be able to explain to me why people are born gay or not.
So,
If
I
he's
mean,
if he knows so much.
we like, as with most psychological phenomena, we can't explain it definitively, right? There's so much that goes into it, but we can look at things that contribute to it, right? So Ian has, shown you compelling evidence that there are genetic factors via, identical
Genetic
twins
factors.
having a
No, he
very,
didn't.
very high concordance, and epigenetic factors, given the fact that non-identical twins have a high concordance but lower than that of identical twins, right? So genetic and epigenetic factors, environmental factors, right? These twins, they're growing up in a similar environment, right? So environmental, epigenetic, and genetic factors. And then there are other studies that further explore some of these factors. So there's a study published in Nature in 2017, Nature being like the preeminent science journal in the world, called Genome-Wide Association Study of Male Sexual Orientation. And it found a variety of gene mutations that are associated with homosexuality in a, really large cohort of patients. So it's over 1,000 in, both the homosexual and heterosexual groups, right? So we've identified specific genes and genetic mutations that are associated with homosexuality. So further confirming the genetic basis. And then he pointed to they pointed to the fraternal birth order effect, which further confirms the epigenetic, influences on homosexuality. And they've actually looked into the mechanism of the fraternal birth order effect, and they've shown that mothers who have multiple sons over time develop more and more antibodies to certain male antigens, and these can affect the in utero development of the fetus and predispose it to homosexuality.
I mean, sure, but you're saying all these as if we even know what
being gay
being
is.
gay
Oh my
is.
fucking god, dude. I'm
It's
gonna hit
like
I'm gonna
it's
hit this
it's
guy with my car. I swear I will.
dude, it's like at the end of the day, we don't even know what it
We
is.
we don't
Like
even know what being gay. God, brilliant.
we don't
Gosh,
know. You can't even
insightful.
define
Yeah.
what it is. You can't even
Gosh.
biologically you can't
At the
define
end
what
of
it
the
is.
day, it's
Yeah.
night. Kerthunk. That's what I'm dreaming of. It's what I'm hoping
It's not a
for.
biological definition, man. It's a psychological definition.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you there. Like it's not biological. It's
Okay.
conditional. We make it up. I mean,
And biology can influence psychology, right?
yeah, I agree, but we don't even yeah,
Okay.
I do think biology can influence
Great.
our psychology, but we don't even know what it influences. We don't even know what being gay is. So like we don't
I
even
just
know
I
what
just
it's
explained to you.
influencing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next time
Jordan, what
you
you
say
yeah. You
like we don't even know what being gay is, just like do half a backflip, like that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a human being say. Like it's incredible.
That's
Can you
really
define
funny.
it?
That's
You
so
guys can't even
funny.
define it.
It's a
It's
bit of a
a
thinker.
man
It's so funny.
who's attracted to other men, right?
Yeah, but that's just vague. You can't even
Okay, so
define
it's
what a man
That's
is.
fake?
That's vague.
It's
I can't
vague?
even
You
Are you
define
think
it.
it's vague?
heterosexual,
Yeah.
Hannibal?
Huh?
Hannibal, are you straight? Are you straight,
Yes.
Hannibal?
Yes.
Define straight, since you don't know what a man or a woman is.
Yeah, I don't think being straight is biological.
But what is it? What is it? What does it mean?
When the person is attracted to the opposite sex.
Oh. Well, sex is biological.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but I don't think we were born to, be attracted to one sex or the other.
You
That's
haven't read a
like
single
war.
source in your life, Hannibal. I don't know why we should
But
care about anything
you
you
don't
say.
even disagree with anything I'm saying.
We do
We
all
do.
disagree. We've all given empirical evidence. You don't even know what empirical means.
You
We've
don't
all
even know
given
what
you,
empirical is.
Oh my.
brother. Like, can
How
you
is this
name
You don't
me
think
one
surveys
study
are
that backs
empirical
the claim that?
evidence?
Can you name me one study, Hannibal, that backs the claim that gay people don't exist?
There's nothing that would convince me that there is.
Okay,
You
so
can't
then
even
that's
give me
just
any
bias.
empirical
That's just a
data.
biased opinion that you hold. That now I just feel like you're trolling because you have no argument. Like, I've never heard such a dog shit argument in my entire life.
Yeah. Also, to be clear, my good friend Hannibal. Yes, surveys are a common method of empirical research. And the question, in case you're wondering, are surveys empirical evidence?
Yeah, but you're more likely isn't really empirical.
Wait, to be clear, or do you agree now that surveys actually are empirical evidence and you were just completely wrong about that?
In some ways, sure, but in
Okay.
this case, not really. No, empirical.
Most empirical evidence looks at likelihood, like almost
No,
no human
like
subjects
what?
research, proves definitively causality, right?
Like what?
Almost
Give me
everything is
like
associative.
give
It
me like
demonstrates associations, and you can infer causality from the associations.
okay, give me one like give me something that's like that we actually believe in scientifically.
Everything that we just talked about.
Yeah, no, give me
All,
like another
all the,
example outside of someone being straight or gay. You can't because we don't believe in something that is oh you're more likely to be this way. We don't believe in like scientifically. No one believes that.
That
Well,
something
like
like
this is like
cigarettes
the only
causing
exception.
cancer, perhaps?
Yeah,
yeah,
cancer.
like
We can
that's
actually empirically
actually a great
see it.
example.
We can see
No.
cancer.
So so we can see that carcinogens on a cellular level cause DNA damage, and that DNA damage can lead to issues with like tumor suppressor genes and
Yeah,
proto-oncogenes that
yeah, exactly. We
lead
can study
to
this.
unrestricted cell replication, right? So we can look at that, and we can identify that there are carcinogens in cigarette smoke. We can look at like the uh, likelihood of developing lung cancer in people who smoke cigarettes and don't smoke cigarettes, right? That's an association. We can look at the cellular
Exactly.
mechanism, right? But we can't like watch a person smoke cigarettes and then take like a tiny little camera and watch the smoke go into their lungs and watch the carcinogens in the smoke enter their, lung cells, and then watch, those carcinogens
But we can
cause DNA
empirically
damage in
see
their lung cells.
cancer.
So we can infer causality, right? We can see that there's a much higher likelihood
It's not
of
inferring.
no, it is inferring because in
We can
any
see
given no,
cancer.
in
We can
any
see
no,
cancer.
yes, we can see
We can't see
cancer.
gay.
Well, wait, but you can
Yeah,
feel
yeah, we
gay.
can.
You can feel an attraction.
Yeah, sure, but that's not a thing though. It's
Wait,
not
how do I
logical.
know that what you're telling me you see is true? How do I know that you're actually seeing that?
What?
How do I know that you're actually seeing cancer? That like the cancer I've never seen cancer. How do I know that the doctors have actually seen it?
Yeah, because we all agree that
Did they have to
we can
tell me?
study cancer.
Did I have to take their word for it on the basis of them claiming to
Feeling
have
and
like a
seeing are
specific like
completely two
sense
different things.
perception? Both of
Yeah,
them
do
are
you know
things that are
identity
immediately
is
accessed by the mind though.
yeah, but the difference is like sexuality, it's not fixed, it's malleable, and we can't like study it. We cannot you can't study what
Some
gay
people's
is. You can study
sexuality is
cancer.
fixed.
I disagree with that.
Would you kiss me right now?
All right. I'm gonna head out.
Okay. Maybe I'll get the next one.
Brutal.
Yeah. Let's read some supers. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Let's read supers. Adam Carmona, thanks so much for the super chat. Have you seen the new book, The Kantian Religion by Ian Hunter? It argues that Kantianism itself has become a quasi-religion. That sounds very interesting. Oh wait, I didn't fucking display the super chat. I'm stupid. The Kantian Religion. This is a new book. Holy shit. This is a very new book. Why the fuck is Princeton University Press selling me books in goddamn euros? This is ridiculous. I knew the US dollar was struggling. I didn't know it was this bad, gang. Based on the table of contents, I'd have to read the book to know, but it seems like it's more so just outlining the way that Kantian philosophy now fits into a lot of like modern day philosophies. Garbage Man, thanks so much for the super chat. Fraternal twins are literally the same as siblings, 50%. Studies use fraternal twins as control simply to eliminate confounding variables like age. Or I guess in this instance, to try to like reduce variables like uterine conditions, maybe. Whoa, KMB, thanks so much for the $200 super chat. What the fuck? That's like crazy. $200? That's huge, KMB. The people who think being gay is a choice should choose to be attracted to the same sex for a day. Don't act on it. Just be attracted in your mind. If you can't do that, it's not a choice. Yeah, genuinely. Like, I just don't think that these things are like, I don't think that that's the sort of thing that you have control over, because I think that there's like a lot of people who would have wanted to change their sexuality. People who are gay in a place where it was not easy to be gay, who would much rather have been straight. I was watching gosh, one of my guilty pleasure viewing channels. I watch the Council of Trent semi-regularly, to be critical, to be a hater. But I think he has like better moral fruits than all the other Christian denominations. So but he was recently he was having a debate against like a person who was on the same Jubilee episode that I was on, who was like an ex-Catholic, who's gay. And part of that dude's story is that he was explaining that he realized when he was in the Catholic Church that he was gay, and he, resigned himself to a life of celibacy for the Catholic Church because he thought that Catholicism was true, and he was fine with that. Um, like, if being gay was a choice, then people like that just straight up shouldn't exist. There shouldn't be anybody who is gay, but is just like, for religious reasons, choosing to be celibate their entire lives. That makes no sense. But let's get a big W for KMB. I really appreciate that. Let's get a big, big W. Loco, thanks so much for the super chat. Please tell us more about how growing up with homophobic parents makes you gay. Can't wait to tell my mom that homophobia in church made me gay. True. Truth nuke. Optimus Rhymes, thanks so much for the super chat. My brother had to listen to Rush Limbaugh's AIDS report where he made fun of gay men for dying of AIDS. We were homeschooled, so it wasn't upbringing. Yeah, well, what they need to do is like the craziest fucking mental gymnastics to arrive at the conclusion. Like they have to do like genuinely like striated goddamn mental gymnastics to arrive at the conclusion that actually that did make you gay, but not all of you, you know. Carissa, thank you so much for the 50 gifted memberships. I appreciate the hell out of that. That's fucking massive too. Let's get a big, big W for Carissa. I really appreciate that. Couldn't do that without you. I don't know, like all these big donations are really helpful for me. I don't know, like I recently got this tablet. I'm on my quest to find the best tablet for taking notes for the debate, and this one is quite good. I like it. I think I like it more than the other tablets that I've used. I don't know. I couldn't do that without support like yours. Seriously, thank you so much. Reverend Nate, thank you so much for the super chat. Uh, People like Cannibal are a great ad for vasectomies. I probably agree with that. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older and make sure that you think that there is something wrong with being gay. Hey, how's it going? Brandon. Brandon Grach. Brandon Gretsch? Maybe. Ah! Brandon, come back up here. Come back up here, Brandon. That was so sad, dude. I heard like the hey, right as I was kicking him off. That was like the saddest thing I've ever seen. Brandon, come back. Come back into the guest request box, Brandon. I kicked him right as he came back. Brings a tear to my eye. How's it going, No Jaded? Oop, is this a me problem? No Jaded, are you there? Okay. No Jaded, more like no
Yeah, I'm not hearing
audio?
them either.
Okay. Hey, how's it going?
Hello there, how you doing?
Doing well, yeah. How old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay. Do you think that there's something wrong with being gay?
Well, I'd like to preface by saying I love gay people, and I come from a Christian background, so yes, I believe there's something wrong with it, but
okay.
I think to understand why it's wrong, we have to understand the cause, and I believe I have some idea of why it might be happening or the cause for it.
Sure. I mean, probably like the most immediate obstacle that you're gonna have to get over is like the same thing that we were pressing the other guest on just now, which is like all of the evidence which would suggest that it's epigenetic, that the thing that causes people to be gay is the combination of like genetics setting basically like more or less like a specific threshold at which if you're exposed to that level of androgen in the womb, you'll grow up to be gay. The combination of those genetics with that specific androgen level in the womb seems to be the thing that's causing people to be gay. So I guess, would you disagree with that? And if so, would you like reject all the empirical evidence that we've presented?
I haven't heard of that yet, but I'd like to just explain my experience and what I think. And then
Do you have
if I lay out
studies,
my
or is
argument,
it-
maybe afterwards,
Sure.
you can refute it if you like, because this is going to sound a little crazy to every one of you. But I have good reason to believe this. So to start, I'd just like to talk about Parasites just for a little bit at the start. So this will sound a little bit crazy, but do
It's
have
a
an
great
open
movie.
mind. So, yeah. So there's a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii, which when it gets into rats, it can change their sexuality to make them attracted to cat urine so that it can go into the cat's body. It wants to get eaten. It wants the rat to get eaten by a cat so it can go into the cat's body and reproduce. So you can Google that. This is real. There is a parasite that can mess with a little mammal so badly that it can make it attracted sexually to cat urine. So
No, I'm
if one
familiar with
parasite
this.
can do that to a mammal, what do you think it can do to humans? And I'd like
I
to
don't
tie
think
this
it's a
back into the
sexual
Bible.
attraction.
Yeah, please, can you let me finish and then refute it afterwards?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
I'd like to tie this into the Bible. There was a guy in the Bible who was fasting for 40 days, and Jesus came up with a bowl of warm milk and lured a parasite out of the guy's mouth and then smashed it on the head with a stone and said, "Behold, the head of Satan." So I believe parasites personally can do a lot in the way of messing up people. And further to that point, the Bible's always talking about how you have to fast and pray to cast out demons. So I'm not saying, maybe parasites are like the physical embodiment of demons. I'm not sure. But I think fasting kills parasites. And that's why conversion therapy, when people are just praying, is not going to work, because you have to also fast, because some demons are stronger than others. Now, to tie it all in, I know it sounds absolutely insane.
It does,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you about
This is,
my
like, completely
experience.
bonkers.
This is personal to me because I used to be a bisexual, and I was looking on Twitter and stuff, and there was a lot of gay people during the pandemic who were taking an anti-parasite drug called ivermectin. I know I don't agree with that, but
It was
as
a lot of
side
specifically.
effect, they passed
It was
out a
Americans
parasite,
who were taking
and
that. Just so you're aware.
yeah, I understand. It is a little crazy, but as a side effect, they passed out a parasite, and these people said they weren't gay anymore. They lost the attraction to it, and they were disgusted with their former self.
Name two people.
I know it does sound crazy, but
Name
I'm
2
going to talk about
people.
myself here. Please let me talk about myself.
Did you take
So,
ivermectin?
as a bisexual man, or someone who used to be,
Did you take
and I eat a lot of
ivermectin?
sushi as well.
Did
I
you
eat a lot
take
of sushi, so I was like, hey,
ivermectin?
I should probably do a parasite
Did
detox
you
as
take
well.
ivermectin?
I took fenbendazole, and I'm not
Okay.
lying. This is
Is
kind of
that a
gross, but I
dewormer?
passed a parasite,
How do you spell
and it
that?
went away. Like I was not gay anymore.
How do you
I'm
spell
not even
that?
joking. It sounds insane, but
Hey, can we
parasites,
go
there is
story for
something to
story?
it.
Hang on, let's go
This
story
is a
for
true
let's
story.
go
I swear
let's
to
go
God.
let's go band for band. I took ivermectin.
It's an
because
azole
my
antiparasitic. Yeah, it
Sorry,
is.
fenbendazole.
No, I was just telling you that it is an antiparasitic.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm telling
so
you, this is 100%.
Yeah,
hang
This
on,
is
can you
what
name
happened
like
to
hang on,
one
me.
bud.
And I
example?
can't.
Wait, I'm
I
sorry.
don't
Can
know
you name?
everything.
Whoa,
Luke, I'm just a guy. I don't know
wait,
everything,
wait.
but I know what happened to
Whoa.
me.
Do you want
This
to
thing
answer a
came out,
question or you
and
just want to
I
yap?
wasn't attracted to that anymore. So what I'm saying is, if a parasite can cause this, then
What, bro? You have not stopped yapping since you come up here. By
Can
the
you
way,
I'm
name
just
one
trying to lay
example
out
of a
my
person
argument,
who
and
took
then you can refute
ivermectin
it
and is no longer
afterwards.
gay?
And tying it back into the
He's not going to
Bible,
answer
I
the
think
question,
with the
dude.
fasting and the
He
praying
just
and the
wants to
demons and
yap.
stuff,
Wait,
I
buddy,
care about gay
this
people, and I
isn't
don't
going to
want.
happen. What's going to happen is you're going to start answering questions or you're going to get off. Which one do you want? We heard you yap. Answer the question. Name one example.
Sorry, what was your question? Because
Yeah.
I thought we
What's
agreed that I
one
would speak and then you
example?
asked the questions
Whoa,
afterwards.
sorry.
'cause-
What I don't want is like 30 points. They're all gibberish. Let's go point
Well,
by
it's not
point.
gibberish. It's real. I'm telling you
Yeah.
the truth
Give
here.
one example of a person who took ivermectin and then stopped being gay.
So I saw this on Twitter, and
Name
I know
one.
you're going to say, "Oh,
Sure.
is this
Okay.
some guy on Twitter?" Fine. I'm
So
talking about
so
myself
literally
here.
0
I'm the
evidence.
example.
Next claim.
I am the proof. I'm literally the
Prove
proof.
it.
I'm the proof of
Yeah.
it.
Go ahead and prove
I
it.
tested it on myself,
Go ahead
so
and prove
it
it.
worked. I'm telling
Well,
you,
yeah.
people.
So first of all,
And further,
I need
if
you
you
to
want
prove that
deliverance,
you're
I suggest looking up Journey
bisexual
of the
before, and I
Anointed
need
on
you to prove
YouTube.
that you're no
This guy
longer
prays demons
bisexual
off of people.
afterwards.
Journey of the Anointed on YouTube and the Parasite Pill online. Trust me, people. If you're
Mhm.
struggling with this and you don't want
Do
this,
you want to answer my
please look
question,
into
or do you
this.
just want to preach? Like, I wouldn't want to
Well,
engage with the
I
question
kind of want. I'm
either
here to save
if the
souls. I want
position
to
was
bring
as
people to
flimsy as
Jesus.
yours. Do you remember the question I even asked you, or were you not listening?
Sorry, I'm trying to talk
You were too
my
busy
stuff right now.
preaching, right? Yeah, I got that. Which is why I'm going to be a lot more direct with you starting now. So do you want like a reminder on the question, or?
Okay, go. What's your question?
Yeah. What's the evidence that you were bisexual before, and what's the evidence that you're no longer bisexual? Go ahead and prove it to us.
Evidence. What do you mean? Do I have to give
Yes,
evidence
you do.
for
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
How am I going to give evidence in a
Okay.
call?
Well,
Can you
then you
just
have no
trust me that
evidence.
I'm being
Next
sincere
claim.
here? I'm not lying.
Sure. So then that claim got like.
Do you want me to bring up
we like
text messages
dewormed
and
that
stuff?
claim
What do you mean by
basically.
evidence? Like, come
I
on,
would
man.
take text messages. Yeah.
I'm not going to show you my personal text messages online.
Just like a text
You just
message
have
you
to
can
trust
like
me on
blur
this.
out,
Like, if
and
you're
it would just
struggling with
demonstrate.
homosexuality, people,
Ooh,
you don't
fuck!
have
He got
to.
caught
There
on
is a
his
cure
lie.
for
That's
this.
too bad, bud. I
There
know
is a
your
cure for
debate
this.
strategy was to come in here and then lie about that, and then you
I'm not
weren't
lying. I
prepared for the
promise you,
question
I'm
that
being
you were
100%
presented with,
sincere.
which
I wouldn't
means like
lie. I fear
unfortunately
Jesus
we
too
have
much to
0
lie.
evidence for your claim.
I believe I'm going to be judged at the end, so I'm not going to lie about that.
Hey, dude.
Okay.
So you said you passed a parasite. Did you actually see this parasite come out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that
Okay.
thing came out, and then a week
Okay.
after, a
So
week passed,
so
and I
do
was
you
like,
know
"Oh, that
do you
was
know
weird."
why
And then a
do you know why
month.
toxoplasma can affect people's thinking, thought processes, things like that?
Oh, they can mess people up so bad.
No,
Like,
it's because it's an intracellular parasite that can enter brain tissue. So if you passed a visible parasite, then it was not intracellular and it was not in your brain. It was extracellular and in your GI
it's
tract.
not just about your brain though. The gut is the second brain.
Yeah.
The
No,
gut.
Trust
that's
me,
not
They
how that
often say
works.
your
this.
gut
No,
health
that's not how that
affects
works at
your
all.
body so much. It's
So,
not
so
just the brain.
if you had an
The brain, it's like
extracellular gastrointestinal parasite, that's going to have absolutely no impact on
I'd
like
refute
higher
that
order
just from
brain
what happened.
processes. What?
I'd refute that just from what happened. I think the gut plays
Yeah.
a major role
No.
in like the way your body functions, in the way
There's
you think.
absolutely no evidence of an association between your gut and your sexual orientation. Zero.
Well,
None.
I think it's parasites in your gut. So
No.
What's the evidence for
No.
that?
Well, Doc, I think you should actually look into parasites more
Can I
because
have
they're
it?
causing so much problems. I'd say even cancer is caused by parasites as
no,
well.
no.
Look, I'm just a guy. I don't know it,
No,
but I know
no.
what happened in
We
my
agree
own
on
life.
that.
I know what happened
We
in
grant
other
you're just a
people's
guy,
lives.
but again, in med school you learn parasitology. All of the actual
Parasites are look at the Parasite Kill online. It's a big PDF file. I strongly recommend you guys do that.
Can I ask you a question? Could you describe the parasite you had in your body?
It looked like this sort of red UFO looking thing. It was weird.
A red
UFO?
What the fuck?
Like a blood cell, like a red blood cell, but
Yeah, so
Bigger.
you pretty much you're patient number 0 for a new parasite.
It was some weird thing crawling around. It looked horrible.
Okay, maybe that is the gay parasite, the first case of the gay parasite ever. Because
Well, I
there's not a
encourage you
single
people to
parasite
look
that looks
into
like
it
that.
because I'm not the only one who's been talking about this.
Wait, how
And
big
there's
was
There's not a
it?
single parasite
I
that
am
looks
not
like
lying.
that.
Like,
There's
I don't
not a
have
single
that
parasite that
attraction
looks
anymore.
like that. There's not a single parasite that affects humans that looks like that.
And okay, so that's from what you think. But I
Well,
know
wait.
from
Do you
what
know?
I experienced
Easy,
what
easy
happened.
You would be
question.
patient number 1.
Yeah, easy question. Do you know what type of parasite it was?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I'm not pretending to know it all. I just know what happened in my experience.
Did you take a
and
picture of
other
it, maybe?
people's experiences. So I think Mr. Doc here should look into this because
Did you take a picture?
there's so much more to know about parasites.
Wait, did you take a picture of
Parasites
the-
affect so many
Did you
more
take a picture
people.
of it?
Well, no, I'm not going to take a
Why
picture
would you
of
not
that
take a
one.
picture of your parasite? That would only bolster your
Insane.
claim. You wouldn't take the
I would've
picture of a
written that up in
parasite
In
that
hindsight,
passed?
yeah, it would, but I don't really want something like that on my camera roll.
Wait, how'd you pass the parasite through a process?
Well, how do you poop things out? It's usually
So
the same
you
way.
did shit the parasite out.
Yeah.
And it was wriggling around.
Mm-hmm. And then I pushed the flush in the toilet, and then a month later, the sexual perversion was gone. So I'm saying, obviously,
maybe there's just a bit
prayer
of blood in
aspect to
your
this as well.
stool.
So if you fast and you pray, it's not going to come back. You're going to be okay. So the point is, if there's people struggling with homosexuality in here, there is a cure for it. I'm not lying.
No, there isn't.
Yes,
Because you
there is.
invented
There's
a parasite
100%.
that doesn't
I'm living
exist.
proof. I'm not
Again,
lying.
You
Do you think I
invented,
just come here and just
you
make
invented
this
a
up?
parasite that doesn't exist.
Yeah, blah blah blah. You think you know, but like,
I do.
you
I
think
do
I just
know.
come here
Sadly, I
and
do
make
know. I
this up?
spent a decade learning this. I do know. Yes.
Oh no, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Well, clearly, it happened to me.
Bro,
You don't know.
I don't know who I'm going to trust, the two medical doctors or know the
Yeah, the
lies
medical
on
doctors,
TikTok.
wow. They were right about COVID, weren't they? Pushing that vaccine
were,
on
yes.
everybody.
They literally were.
Were you? The vaccine that killed
They
3 of my
they
family
quite literally
members.
were, yeah.
Like, I lost all faith in the medical establishment after COVID because you see, just like the doctors with a genuine backbone, they left. They didn't want to inject that poison into people.
Could you name them?
But you guys just like, oh my
Wait,
days.
hey,
how
you know
many
the lies?
pills
Do you have like a
pushed?
study
Do
that would
you cure
indicate that
anything?
the COVID vaccine was harmful? Like net
Anyway,
harmful?
look, I'm going to leave now because this is
Yeah,
going
I
nowhere.
would
If you
leave
want
too after a
deliverance,
question like
search
that.
Journey
Fell
of the
apart
Anointed on
instantly.
YouTube. You can be cured from this. If you're struggling with homosexuality, there is a cure for
If you're
this.
struggling with
God bless
homosexuality,
you.
you should
making it up.
find a nice
Thanks
gay
for your
lover
time.
to struggle with you.
That was so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, seriously.
I wanted him to describe the parasite because again, there's not a single like rounded red blood cell looking red parasite that is going to be passed from the stool.
The fuck? I don't even
Toxoplasmosis
know what that
is
means.
intracellular in the blood.
Sounds like it would need to be
Watch
like
him
a
have like a
massive
scarus or
parasite.
something. He had a roundworm. He had a scarus.
Even a scarus doesn't. A scarus lumbricosa doesn't look like that. It's not a red. It's not a red circle.
I know. It's just the closest thing I could think of.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fuck, he wasn't prepared
That
for
was
describe the parasite.
obnoxious.
Okay, let me
Made it
read
up on the spot.
Yeah, seriously. Whoa, wait, fuck, did I don't know if I hit it accidentally. Atheist No Foxhole, thanks so much for the super chat. Euros are just gay dollars. That seems true. I'd be willing to buy that. Loco, thanks so much for the super chat. Caller made this argument in his gut, not his brain. That's funny. That's fucking brutal. Dr. Fudge, thanks so much for the super chat. I think this guy is just a grifter, to be honest. Also seems bigoted on his page. I wouldn't doubt that. That seems about right, to be honest. But other than that, it's my time to go. I must flee. But if you want to get started with philosophy, you don't know where to start, you should join my Discord. It's discord.gg/allegedly Ian. We're doing a reading group of Michael Huemer's Knowledge, Reality, and Value. We're reading chapter 15, the chapter on deontology, and I'm leading the discussion this week. I love leading the discussion, and I love deontology. I have lots of thoughts, lots of opinions. We'll be talking about Michael Huemer's take. We'll be talking about potential ways that Kantians might try to fix these critiques. We'll be talking about rights. You ought be at the book club, and that's a categorical imperative. Holds in all circumstances. If you had to choose between the entire world exploding and attending the book club, you should definitely attend the book club, hands down, every single time. All right. Other than that, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks so much for being up here. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the medical expertise. I might do the God topic tomorrow, but we'll see. Maybe I think I'm going to try to work this one. Yeah, what's up?
Are you like bisexual?
I think I'd probably label as like generally queer. It depends on your metaphysics of gender. Is kind of the weird thing. Is that if your metaphysics of gender are like trans inclusive, then you'd probably label me queer. But if they're like trans exclusive, then you'd probably label me straight.
Okay, so I guess I was gonna use you as the test subject with Abundazor, but
you'll
anyways.
have to find like a. There must be like some gay atheist in the atheist community.
Yeah, just like a mass Abundazor campaign to parasite the gay away.
True. Yeah, I was gay, and then I took all this ivermectin, and now I'm straight.
That is insane. But anyways, thank you for having me up, and
yeah, thanks so much for coming on up.
Bye bye.
I was just going to ask a super stupid question.
Yeah, go for it.
If you do ultimately go like full time with this, with like, you know, debates and stuff, will you stop being allegedly Ian and become confirmed Ian?
Oh, that would be so. Now we're talking.
That'd be
It's
like the
no
evolution.
longer alleged. It's
Yeah, exactly.
convicted Ian.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, that was my dumb question.
Yeah, I like that question. That's fun. All right. I'll see everyone later. Have a good one. See you all tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Bye, Ian. Take
All right.
care.
Yep, so much fun. All right, bye. Wait, Molly, we don't have more